We're starting now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I gotta wait for it to appear on YouTube.
It should now.
We'll see. It usually takes a minute. Oh, yep. It appeared right as I clicked live. Like, as I clicked live, it showed that you're live on your profile picture. But then I have to like click it. It didn't appear in the live tab that I clicked. It's kind of funny how that works, ain't it?
Alrighty.
Obviously, wait for people to pour in.
Man, Bobzilla is the first one to join the stream with L Glaze.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, Alone?
Are you ready to lose some brain cells? I mean,
yep.
From his past videos, this guy's kind of just a yapper. So it's like,
yeah.
Oh,
Bobzilla, you really just came in to talk about Shanks versus Mihawk. Come on, bro. Get real. Why do I look so evil?
It's because he is evil.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Buttons notices the Markiplier jingling the keys.
Yeah.
No,
Man, Hashi always waiting on Surfbone. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are not reacting to that guy, Bobzilla. I've made it very apparent that I'm no longer giving that guy the attention he wants. He's done. His arc is over.
Oh, someone replied to my reply. Oh,
no, you haven't seen the one that truly makes my character look evil.
Wish I had account switcher on mobile. That'd be really nice.
Oh, I forgot to put on for the stream. Well, Slow Assassin, if you were here yesterday for the stream, we were reacting to... First, it was like some other guy. I can't even remember his name. Didn't really matter. But then we reacted to a guy called Midnight Rants as a result of us getting a donation from somebody to watch him. And we had quite a bit of time left, so... Yep, that's what we're doing.
Oh. Angry Birds, yeah. I kind of wish it was like a remix of this with like a snare in it, you know? Maybe we should put Nate onto that.
Probably.
Yeah, that's always the problem.
Yeah, Bobzilla, we already reacted to like his most popular one, and that one was really, really funny to watch because the guy just was coping and seething the whole time, and it was really funny to make fun of him the whole time. So we thought, you know what? Let's react to the video that people have actually been telling us to watch. And this one is also 30 minutes.
Oh, lordy.
Oh my god.
Well, considering how much he rants, it shouldn't be that bad.
I just realized it. Alrighty. We also have, in the corner, we're also gonna have... Just so we have more stuff for the people to focus on.
Gotta have the key shingling, yeah.
Well, we have that, but we also have some Subway Surfers.
I feel like people who make these vids probably lost a debate and became anti-power scaling. Yeah, it's a lot of that, or it's like, I have this one mute on Twitter, and they're like, they'll give like power scaling takes, like this person beats this person, but like when you want to get into the nitty gritty, they won't. they'll just be like, oh, that's power scaling. But it's like, what are you doing if you're, saying who would win? Oh, Surfbone, do you agree with Superman or Goku being low 2C? Or just 2C, so multiversal? I've seen her respond to any videos, Goku debunking them. Their videos debunking everything, my guy. Debunks are nothing to say anything about any stance. Where do you scale Ben 10 and Deku?
Deku.
In the trash and in the trash.
Very true.
Next question.
Rip to y'all's brains, Bobzilla knows.
Yeah, I should have it on live chat, shouldn't I? I hate those types of people. Yeah, me too. I've never gotten like how you can really discuss who would win without, doing some kind of power scaling. Like the other video the guy made, he was like, "Oh, well, just pick whoever's your favorite." But like, what happens when you have two characters who are both your favorite?
Funny enough, I just want to read out this guy's description. How powerful is Superman? How much can Hulk lift? Can Detective Chip one-shot Goku? The answer to these questions that you have been fed for years are all lies. And I am here today to reveal the truth that power scalers can't handle. This guy, like, speaks like some conspiracy theorist, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that he supposedly knows the truth, and that everyone only makes fun of him because he's right.
Yeah. I should probably tweet out that we're streaming now, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Let me just screenshot the Discord call with, like, the chat up. That's probably a funny idea, right?
The only reason Ben 10 was ever discussed was because somebody else asked about it.
Yeah. I've never really cared for the Ben 10 scalers because they're all kind of weird.
Yeah. I could scale them, but I don't want to.
Maybe if someone paid me.
What?
I'll do
Goob
anything
is like, what is this? What the fuck is this music? You never heard of Angry Birds, Goob?
Yeah, it's the Angry Birds. And Hikey slaps. I'm not even gonna trip.
I don't know why. It was just randomly in my head for some reason. I was just thinking about it.
Oh, what did Nate DM me in FL? Oh, he's in FL Studio. Says Nate cooking. Do we smell what the Nate is cooking?
Yep.
Angry Birds. Yep, he's cooking. Yeah, it needs like snare. It needs like a very stereotypical snare. Nate, is what it needs. Careful, Hashi. You'll trigger Green Shifter. That's the goal. The only reason Ben 10 has a power scaling community is because of because of Alien X. Yeah, that's facts. Oh, Hashi, what are your overall thoughts on Space Marine 2 as a Warhammer game? It's very good, actually. It's like, it's beyond just like a Warhammer game. It's just a good game in general. I think it's a little bit light on content, but it's because it's like a game made in like 2012. It has like a kind of like a stable down multiplayer mode. That's pretty fun. I really like it. So I'm gonna tweet out that we're streaming.
Yep.
Let me grab a link. Oh, I gotta. All right. Hope you guys like the new keyboard.
Yep. That's a new keyboard.
Yeah, new keyboard.
Oh boy.
I got it for free, so.
Yeah. This is gonna be quite the video indeed.
Yep. We don't scale Fate.
Yeah.
Bobzilla, I will commit a home invasion on you. You better chill out.
Wait, is Noodles actually finally awake now?
I don't know.
It just said that he was.
Yeah, I got it too.
Yeah, I just got the Steam notification. Would you all be interested in a Shonen versus Tokusatsu matchup? I love Tokusatsu, so it could be cool. Maybe if you did something like a, I'm trying to think who's Shonen who would match up well, like Straw Hats versus Gokaiger or something like that. That could be neat. But like the issue is that there's like cracked speed feats in like that Toei verse. Like there's like blatantly people who move and stop time and all sorts of stuff. Hashi, you and Surfbone have never had a good take? What are you talking about? All my takes are golden. They're evergreen. Bobzilla
Get the
just
fuck
can't
out of
accept
here.
the facts. Bobzilla, you literally said I had a good take the other day. Shut the hell up.
I mean, I scale Alien X, but I also bring up the other aliens AP. Yeah, but who's like doing Humongous Thor versus anybody? Like no one, right? It's
The only
Alien
one
X versus the world.
Yeah, literally, the only one that anyone ever cares about is Alien X. Also, yes, it is kind of bingo time, more or less.
Yep. Surfbone, what are your thoughts on VSB's DC downgrades? They're terrible. VSB. VSB did like none of the work for any of the DC scaling, and they basically just came in and went, well, we don't like how strong DC is, so we're gonna chop it up. But they don't realize that like the same metric they could do would have to be applied to every other verse as multiple authors. So, and I would never try to scale anything using like extended modal realism or such. Like it's just trash.
VSB is just a pile of mud, and any time wasted on that site is attempting to like build a castle, only for it to crumble back down again. You are absolutely wasting your time trying to care about what that site does. The only reason I even care about it, even remotely, is because it's almost like our job to at least be aware, but we have people that tell us often. We don't even tune into it.
What do you think of the whole Saitama 4D wank? I don't think it's wank. I think it's very wank. Intuitive. Yeah, I think it's very intuitive, and like the best you can say is maybe it is an AP, but even then, I think you're stretching it.
Yeah.
Why is getting rid of inaccessible speed a good idea, Bobzilla? Like, there are characters who move in 0 time. That is a very, like,
also,
relevant
Bobzilla,
thing.
It's clear you don't know anything about Versus Battle Wiki because they never removed it inaccessible speed because they never had it as a tier to begin with. And their reasonings weren't good either. I've made, like, an entire video based around that entire, like, idea. Like, Happy was, like, the one that kept perpetuating the idea that supposedly Versus Battle Wiki removed it for good reasons, but never even bothered to research that it was never on the site to begin with. And even when Naya tried to present it to Versus Battle Wiki, they just didn't like that a lot of infinite speed characters would then be classified
that tier.
Would then be classified inaccessible. And a lot of people just didn't like it. And then the only person that even tried to provide a critique against it was just spitting word garbage the whole time.
Someone said, that's why we don't use VSB. No, the reason why we don't use VSB is because, like, as time progresses, every tier they have goes from some achievable metric, like, you know, being 4 inches, right, to just saying, oh, it's big. That's a dick joke, obviously, but it still holds true that their tiers are just become more and more subjective, and you basically have to go back to them to say, how strong is this character? It becomes nearly impossible to scale any character, like, on your own, using them as a metric.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've exhausted enough time just
around. We've waited enough. Yep.
And we're no longer going to be listening to the earworm of Angry Birds.
Oh, didn't VSB literally admit to ignoring feats? Yes.
Yes. Yep. I also have an entire short where they just... one of the main administrators admits to this, and people try to be like, no, that doesn't happen. He's like, no, we do it all the time.
Yep.
Alright. Gonna pull this up on screen for...
No, Bobzilla, the issue is that if you're infinite speed, it still takes you time to move places, even if it's like a microscopic amount of time. You never reach 0. Like, even like the smallest like distance, it would take you the smallest amount of time, but it would never truly be 0.
Alright. I put it at 1.5 times speed because this guy talks really slow.
Good.
Plus it's 30 minutes
Let the
long.
speed flow through you.
Yes.
Good.
Alright, is everybody ready? It's time to watch this.
Yep.
It has come to my attention that most people view heavy-hitting superheroes like Thor, Hulk, and most commonly Superman as these infinitely strong, all-powerful beings. But today,
infinitely all-powerful.
all right. Let's start with a disclaimer from the power scalers in the room. No one thinks Hulk or like Thor are omnipotent. Now, people make meme arguments about Superman with like the story, but no one literally thinks they're omnipotent. At least no one worth their salt.
Also, we already immediately, right off the bat, like have an X on the anti power scaling bingo.
Yep.
Make a straw man about what all power scalers think.
Yep. Don't we have one that's like
Fine.
you can't like there aren't levels to infinity? Isn't that
No,
on there
we do
too?
not.
Oh, well, that should be. That's another one we could have added.
Yeah.
Yoshi, this is important. Shut the hell up. Anyways, also, as a fellow buttoned-up, flowery shirt enjoyer, you should not keep it unbuttoned like that. It does not look good. This isn't a roast. This is a genuine criticism, like man to man, right? Like, if you're gonna wear a button-up, button the damn thing up.
Yep.
Alright, let's keep on.
I'm here to prove it's all a bunch of hogwash, baloney, if you will. There is a deep state level conspiracy going on here. If you're a casual fan of comic characters, you've probably been spoon-fed enormous amounts of erroneous information on your favorite comic characters so that hyper-sweaty social media comic fans can push the oddly specific
Oh, wait,
narrative
that's Space
that
Racer.
every
Pause
other
it.
comic book character can one-punch.
Pause. Go back.
Oh no,
So-
he's aware of Space Racer.
Yeah, so for those who don't know from yesterday's stream, this is relevant because in the last video, he was getting super butt mad that strong characters use guns when Space Racer is like the best example of strong ass gun used by a guy.
Yeah.
He knows about Space Racer.
Yeah,
Oh my god, is a video from this guy again? It is. It is, in fact.
It is indeed.
Hashi, why does bro look like he lives in the entrance of a dry cleaner? You said it. I
yeah,
didn't.
you said it. You said it. We have.
I did not say that.
Yep.
The universe
I was
out
just-
of
I was
existence.
reading
You
it.
are being bamboozled by madmen, which is really funny to me, but like the truth is important or something. So today, I am here to prove that your favorite comic characters aren't as powerful as you think they are. So basically, this
Oh,
video's
let's see
target
if you
audience
prove
is the comic book community. My plan is to bully the ever-loving shit out of the comic book community. I see no flaws with this plan whatsoever. First, I'm going to need to sit you down and give you the birds and bees talk that your parents were too afraid to your entire life. We need to
Alright.
talk about why comic book character power level
Let
wanking
us
happens.
know.
What I think showcases why
Almighty
the comic book
Big
community wanks power level so much is this
Alright, once
story
he's
I
done
read
with
on
this,
Quora
pause
from
it.
this
I'm
power
gonna say
scaler, and he was
something.
answering a question on who would win in a fight between Superman and some anime character. I don't remember which. They all look the same to me. And he answered that question by the use of a story. And the story goes a bit like this. Viewer discretion advised. Superman kills the anime character in an attosecond and says, "Ha, you stupid fucking beat. I can move faster than light and destroy entire dimensions, you stupid fucking beat. How fucking moronic can one idiot be? I could kill your entire verse, you pathetically weak, stupid little runt.
Yeah, okay.
You're so weak, it's funny." And this isn't an exaggeration on how he portrayed Superman. In fact, I remember it being way worse. Sadly, I don't have the story saved. I read it years ago and I don't know what I was doing. I really should have just saved that stuff because it was absolutely gold. But if you go on Quora, the power scalers there are absolutely mental. They're so obsessed with the power levels of
This is
characters
why you
don't
being
go on
presented as large as
Quora.
humanly possible. They've
This you don't.
Pause
you,
it.
you don't
Alright.
go on
Yeah.
Quora. Anyone who's worth
I-
their
I-
freaking salt
I-
know that Quora sucks a lot.
Korra is terrible. Everybody knows it. If you're in the Daniel Larson fandom, you know it too. But what I was gonna say is, if he's saying he's just gonna try to bully power scalers, I would love to talk to him and call.
Yeah.
Like this isn't, I definitely get the idea that if you're making videos, you don't want to like debate on Discord or whatever. I get that. But when you are admittedly saying, I want to bully power scalers, well, why don't you join calls? Why aren't you calling into people's shows? If you're just trying to make the bag and stuff, I understand that. I don't know if you actually are getting the bag from these videos, but I get it,
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be a genuine belief that you hold, and you're very upsetty that people are having fun while not following what you say.
Yeah. And look,
So,
like we've been saying before, just because you've met some of those absolute degenerates that exist within the power scaling community does not mean that they encompass literally every single power scaler. And it's not like we are extremely aware of the fact that these people exist and they give this, like, us power scalers a bad name. But just because you get all upsetty spaghetti over the fact that these people exist and make really dumb arguments does not mean that you should go on YouTube and make an incredibly misinformed video claiming that you know the truth about power scaling and that everyone has been lying to you.
I would like to talk
Like
about
you're
like the
some
notion of
conspiracy
I'd like to talk about the notion of lying, by the way. So, if we have a scan, right? And let's say it's like the most explicit Uniplus scan you can think of, right? Like, pick your favorite one for any character. And you present it and you say, this is Uniplus. Like, where is the lie? Mm-hmm. Now, it wouldn't be a lie, like, technically, right? If you think it's Uniplus it says it's Uni Plus, it shows it's Uni Plus, and this guy just thinks, no, it's impossible to be Universal Plus.
Also,
Because I'm... what?
just a quick point. Bob Silla is saying he's probably making a good amount of money from this. I'm just want to point out something real quick. To Mr. Bobzilla here. But I want you
Why'd you zoom in so much?
Because I want you to see...
He looks like
oh my gosh, this is way too zoomed in.
Yeah, you dumbass. Anyways.
Wait, hold on. I want to show... I want you to take a look at his subscriber count real quick.
I have to move my thing to see that. How many views does the video have?
Only less than 6,000. It was made in September.
Yeah, that's at best like $18.
Yeah. Well, no, he can't make. He's not a part of the YouTube partnership program until he makes at least 1K subscribers. So no matter how many views he's made as of right now, he still hasn't made any money from this.
Anyways, I'd like to continue with my rant.
All right.
So the issue is that it can't be a lie unless everybody apparently knows that like you can't be Uni Plus. But that's also a claim he's only made. That like we all apparently know and we're all lying to each other. But what's really funny is when you have these like big beefs between like fandoms that happen, like Boruto and One Piece, no one ever makes these arguments.
Also, Bobzilla, I really want you to listen to what this guy says, because once you listen to him, he very much sounds like a dude that got really like upset that he kept losing debates with people about this stuff, and he can't actually counter them. So he literally creates 30-minute videos coping about that fact and claiming that his like ultra divine knowledge is to just say that power scaling is stupid, and that and that there is no, like, he was even talking about how like the word infinite has lost all meaning and is basically like saying the word hello at this point.
I would also like to point out, someone said something in chat, I was reading. He's doing it for the love of the game, and that's fine. You can do something where you just, you like doing it, but the problem is his videos come off as him being butthurt. Like, he's not making any real observation, and he's just constructing straw mans. So, let's keep watching.
Yeah, hold on.
We'll try not to stop it too much, but it's like...
Yeah, I'm having to...
I just want to yell at him. It's like...
No, I understand. I'm just...
Yeah.
For one, I'm pulling up the bingo.
Alright, yep.
I have my own reference to see if... because it's really small. My OC. Okay, let's just keep going.
Completely forgot about the characters themselves. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't understand Superman. Actually, now that I think about it, one of my favourite things about Superman is when he beats up a villain and he's like, "Ha, you stupid bitch, my power level is bigger than yours. Fuck idiot, stupid little fraud." People attach their very egos to the power level.
Alright, pause. He's already... Alright, sorry. I'm sorry, class. Surfbone. There we go. If you've ever read a Superman comic, they toss around "you're not Superman strong" all the time. And Superman's whole shtick is that he's holding back. Like, he doesn't read Superman. I'm willing to bet he watched, like, the animated series Man of Steel and, like, an animated movie, and that's it.
Yeah.
Let's keep... That was just like a factual error.
Lose sight of the character themselves. So when people get into online versus debates in the comic book who would win community, it inevitably devolves into this splorge of just throwing these out of context comic panels of like cosmic level feats that have just been completely taken out of context and aren't what you think they are at all. And then so they'll throw these out, right? And maybe the people that do this have like read like the comic that it was in, thought to themselves, I can twist this a little to make it seem like Superman can annihilate anyone. And then they'll throw these out, and then someone who's never read the story will be like, oh my god, this is the coolest feat ever. And they'll save it and they'll throw it out, and then it'll be like thrown out again, and it'll just spread and spread and spread and spread until practically every character in comic book who would win versus debate discussions is being presented as this like cosmic level multiverse obliterating ultra deity. And to add fuel to the wankish fire, the Goku versus Superman race that shook the...
Alright, so according to him...
Everyone does this with every single character. It's not just Superman. They do
No,
this
no,
with
no.
everybody. Like,
No. All right. So according to him, every feat that's used for being multiversal, or let's assume uni as well, right? It's like a cosmic level. All of them are out of context and misconstrued. So what this means is this guy has allegedly read all of these feats, and he just knows. Like he knows like the comic. Like in Superman 554, you're lying about it. So why don't you make like a king shit video where you're like, here's why this feat's out of context, here's why this feat's out of context, here's why this one is, here's why you're being dishonest here. Why doesn't he make like a super constructive video where he actually demonstrates that?
yeah.
For those of you who don't know, saying out of context is itself a positive claim.
Yep.
The
Like-
internet a few years back, thanks in large part to Death Battle, spiraled everything out of control. When Goku's story continued in Super, he became cosmically powerful. So then the comic fans had to wank Superman by taking all of his feats out of context and whatnot in order to match Goku,
Wait.
thus spawning the infamous
So
Ultra
wait,
Ball,
I'm sorry.
dozens-
Pause it again.
So it's out of
Goku-
context because people are taking feats out of context just so he's now on the level of Super Goku. That's really funny. I really hope that you actually read the freaking Superman comics that you're claiming to have read by saying that they're all out of context and they're all being wanked to absolute degrees.
Wait, you're forgetting the part. Goku is apparently like objectively uni plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goku is like allegedly like uni plus, right? But like Superman? No. That's out of context.
Yeah, like hold on a second. Wait, let's keep going with this. Let's see what he says.
of out of context comic panel threads ranking Superman to disproportionate heights, which is really ironic considering this started happening at the tail end of the post-crisis era of DC Comics. In the pre-crisis era, characters actually were enormously powerful. That famous image of Superman towing billions of planets comes from pre-crisis, but from like copious amounts of talks with older comic fans, nobody really liked the characters being overpowered. So when the post-crisis universe reset hit the power levels of characters, especially Superman, they were toned way down. Superman used to be able to sneeze away entire
Hold on a second.
Why is he...
Where is it? Where's the panel I'm looking for? Oh wait.
I would also like to point out that there's no hard line between pre and post crisis, and Superman fights. Yeah, I was gonna say, yep, right there.
This one's way
right
too
there.
small, but I'm trying to find the one that actually shows it in full. But where is it? It was right there, but it's just way too small of an image. Wait, let me see if. Keep talking in chat while I'm looking it up.
Oh yeah, sure. I was coughing a bit there. What I was gonna say is, New 52 was like 2011, wasn't it? Not 2006. But what I was gonna point out is that Golden Age and Silver Age were like tied, and Silver Age is just post crisis. So it's like this lie about the crisis is really weird because if you read Crisis, there are quite a few characters who just didn't get changed as well.
I guess. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's Golden Age and post crisis. Yeah,
the universe is in its death throes because of him, a version of him, of myself, a simplistic world of black and white morality, a whimpering version of myself from a corrupt world where morals have been tossed aside like trash. The struggle between us has shattered the boundaries of space and time. Every time we connect, I'm transported to his world, living his life. A fractured dream, a persistent nightmare. Golden Age Superman and post-crisis Superman were literally fighting each other so hard that they were breaking the frickin' universe apart.
Yeah,
But no, they're just not. They were underpowered, in golden in post-crisis era.
They mostly just stopped adding a lot of powers. That was like ages ago, and they still do. Like Superman got the super flare. There's like they've always done it. It's just that when it happens nowadays, it's not as big of news as like the wacky, golden age stuff.
Yeah, like hold on, when in doubt.
While you're doing that, the whole like post-crisis was like weaker is like a very old myth from like Comic Vine too. Nairobi, it's the first one, yeah.
Yep.
That's literally the fight I was thinking of. Yeah, there's also there. Yeah, look at
all these different abilities, but let's just look at post-crisis Superman's fight with Golden Age rewrites timelines and shatters the space-time continuum. That they would just destroy each other and each other's universes. Man, this is...
Yep. It's actually like a multiversal feat. Well, depending what scans you use, this feat might actually be like 6D. Because each universe in DC is a separate 3 dimensions.
There we go. Look at this.
Oh, Superman Red and Blue, those are always a treat to see. I like Superman Blue a lot. The comics are actually really good, believe it or not. It's just pre-crisis needs a solar system lane, so people think that he slams. Yeah, oddly enough, of all people, like SSJ Ryu and Seth had a really good, like, quote-unquote debunk to that, which is that sneezing isn't some insignificant portion of your body's power. Yeah, Superboy Prime punching the wall.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, there's a ton there. You can pick your poison, and there were more that we found after they got done with that page. So, we can go back to the video. My most powerful character can sneeze the dimensions that are counted in outer reversal into another axis itself, and even that isn't omnipotent. Yeah, this guy doesn't understand what like the real gap is between like people and omnipotence.
When post-crisis set in, he struggled to pull the moon with help. However, as DC continued...
Wait, hold on. There's no... That has to be out of context. Do you remember that?
I don't know. I think it is out of context. There's some other stuff. And even then, that would be like lifting strength, not AP.
Also...
And that feat of God Brainiac is New 52 Superman.
Yeah.
Decades, power creep inevitably set in, but characters never reach their pre-crisis levels of power.
Oh, shit. Pause.
Oh, yep. Thank you, Jake the Surgeon, for the $2. Hello, Surfbone. Hope you're having a good day. Well, I hope you're having a good day, Jake. Thank you very much for the $2. Very much appreciate it. Thank you for the support.
I know we're hitting the thing over and over, but like the myth that pre-crisis characters were just like astronomically stronger is an old one. It's not some new argument. It's not something DC scalers have never heard of. This is a video made for casuals.
Like,
all right, let's keep watching.
It's like really funny that you're talking about out of context stuff, but you wouldn't explain the context of the whole like pulling the moon thing. And like we already just showed like an instance where literally Superman in his post-crisis version is fighting his pre-crisis version, and their battle is literally destroying the universe as they fight each other. Like, dog.
These like special transformations that enhance their power. And this, of course, wasn't enough for the new generation of fans that need characters to be at least universe busters in order to enjoy them. This contrasts so immensely with the older fans' desire for power levels to be nerfed that it's jarring. The newer fans start taking power levels...
Well, no, go back. He posted... He showed the scan of Shazam and Superman in like limbo lifting the Book of Infinite Pages. Like, you don't even know the context of that if you're saying this is them being overpowered.
Yeah, they're literally like in a higher outerversal realm.
Yeah.
Like, and they've already had to gone through a boom tube to even like be at the size that they currently are to even hold up the Book of Infinite Pages. Like,
yeah.
The older fans' desire for power levels to be nerfed that it's jarring. The newer fans start taking...
Can you show like older fans saying that?
Yeah.
Because clearly you aren't a fan.
Sneaking pre-crisis feats in with post-crisis ones, and just straight up making shit up.
Like where?
Wait, sneaking? Who are these two? Midnight? Who is this other guy? That post-crisis Superman is currently fighting right now.
You also gotta love how he doesn't actually show any examples. Like, he never, like, shows a video. He never shows anything.
Like, why are we showing this completely irrelevant scan in regards to people keep comparing pre-crisis, and I don't understand why. Well, maybe you should actually understand the arguments and hear what they have to say, and then address them in the video if you happen to disagree with them, instead of presenting random fuck-off panels that have nothing to do with the argument you're trying to make.
100%. I just don't get, like, if you're gonna make this kind of like overarching claim that there's some grand conspiracy, right? It's like it doesn't work because you aren't showing it, and I think you're just lying about it to try to like poison the well for all other power scalers. That's what it seems like you're trying to do. Someone said, could have sworn that's not Superman, but it's Ultraman. In that scan, it's clearly Superman. But even if it was Ultraman,
this is Superman.
Yeah, even if it wasn't, they scale. Like,
yeah, and you can clearly see it in the picture right here. Superman has his Ultraman has a U on his chest.
Yep. I think he also wears gloves,
Voila,
too.
Superman can now blink the entire multiverse out of existence. Hooray! And that was done, comic book power scalers all patted themselves on the back, but then they asked themselves,
Pretty sure
but if
it's
Superman
Rebirth.
is that strong now and he needs to be, or he can't beat Goku, what about classic matchups like Superman versus Thor? So, then they had to wank Thor to match Superman to
Wait,
that matchup.
pause.
But then the
So, like, apparently it works like so apparently Superman got wanked by the books themselves, right? And then Thor just got stronger too.
Well, and
But
it's
you're
like, it's like now, like, because he beats Goku, they have to set him up with other characters like Thor. But because Thor isn't that powerful and people don't want Thor to lose, they have to wank him now. And then he just goes on to another point.
It's like
he doesn't actually explain how they are supposedly wanking Thor, but
when
people are apparently.
When like I work on videos that like require this like proof that like something happened, I show like an issue whenever this happened, which came out in this week. But then in this week, this happened, right? This guy isn't doing any of that. He's not putting in any legwork. He's not doing any research on either. Yeah, I was about to say Ultraman is a tokusatsu character as well, Surfbone, but he doesn't ever like show. Oh, here's like where's Super.
Okay, it's like I put in Marvel.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Isn't the current?
Yeah, here we go.
Isn't current Thor the strongest version of Thor? I don't know. Wanking Thor is crazy. I mean, like he probably thinks Thor is like subplanetary.
Yeah, because he's probably thinking in the context of the MCU, because he's never read a comic before.
Yeah. Oh, Hulk is gonna get wanked now, even though Hulk fights Thor like every other issue, you know.
Hulk needed to be wanked to match Thor, so all the characters that have Thor...
Wank to match Thor? He fights him in the comics, bro!
they scale to each... Like, anytime they don't scale to each other, it's because one of them is, like, giga-amped. And then usually the other one will get giga-amped, too. Or, like, they aren't in the same place or something. Like, dog, they fight all the time.
Oh, man.
Like,
oh, man. Look at all these different instances that are literally just called Hulk versus Thor.
Yeah.
And they're literally fighting each other. But
yeah,
no,
Hulk is literally in a new comic.
All power scalers
Thor.
are just wanking both Thor and Hulk in regards to them fighting each other, even though they literally fight each other within the comics. Okay, bro. You've never read a
Yoshi,
comic before.
No one, like, I'm not saying you should understand it instantly. This is, like, basic logical reasoning. If Thor and Hulk famously fight all the time, they're just relative all of the time.
Yeah.
Like, so if Hulk is stronger, Thor's probably stronger too.
Yeah.
Hulk and Thor semi-decently also must be that level because power scaling, and all the characters those characters for must also be that immense level because that just makes sense. And on and on and on it goes until
Wait, I'm
characters,
sorry.
and now apparently
He's trying to... So if Hulk and Thor fight, apparently they aren't relative, and that just doesn't matter. And when Hulk fights somebody, that just doesn't matter. They don't scale to Hulk at all. Like, when we see this on page, right, even though it's a crossover, never mind that, we're just supposed to be like, oh, yep, Superman just tanks it because he's Superman. And then not talk about how, you know, that means Superman is stronger than Hulk at this point.
Jake the Surgeon for $5. It's our fault for not noticing all these things, and we should stop, apparently.
Yeah, to some people, doing research and like learning about characters and reading all of it is ruining the character for them.
Yep.
So
That immense level, because that just makes sense, and on and on and on it goes until practically half of comic characters can now apparently defeat Goku. Aunt May, Sola's your favourite anime verse, and if you don't
Comic characters can beat Goku, guys. Oh no.
no,
Oh no.
notice how he's like making a meme about Aunt May, but like he doesn't show anybody making this argument. He doesn't make the argument himself. Like, it'd be piss easy to find like one of the Atom Scalers for Marvel and like screenshot it and make fun of him.
I'm just gonna get rid of it. Actually, no. I'll leave the...
And then someone said, how dare people do research instead of just trust me broing? Exactly, right?
Yep.
A lot of Ben
you are
10
a
people
genuine
like
pseudo-intellectual.
whoever
So I
also
want to
like
spend some
this.
time debunking some of the most famous out-of-context wankage panels that you've probably seen on social media, even if you
Okay.
aren't a
Alright.
big fan. There's a chance you've seen
Alright.
one or two. And I
Good.
also want to go over a couple of the ones that aren't as popular but I think are interesting. One of the biggest
Alright.
misrepresented feats in perhaps all of fiction is Superman supposedly lifting a book of infinite pages. Superman did
Alright.
not lift a book of infinite pages. He and Shazam attempted to lift a book of infinite pages and failed. The
They
scale is
lifted
taken
it
out
after
of
that.
context. You see the book is off the ground in the
So, you're using what Death Battle said as an argument in their first ever infamously really bad
Oh, shit.
Goku versus Superman video. Okay, buddy.
$2 from Slow Assassin. Who stole this guy's chocolate milk? Probably a power scaler on the playground. Another $2 from Jake the Surgeon. Guys, I'm sorry. Goku doesn't solo. Don't be sorry to me. Be sorry to this guy, apparently.
Yeah.
Because Goku apparently did solo till those damn comic writers gave him better feats.
They
have this weird mentality
literally
of just, like,
discussing
oh.
on panel, like Superman's like, hold on, it's like, and they're just like, exactly, this contains every book possible. We know, the Ultra Thul's onboard computer has infinite memory capacity, which means it could read every page of the book at once and download instructions for all its own repair. How do we get it back? Hold on, the strength and stamina of Hercules and Atlas and the power of Zeus. If anyone can help me lift a book with infinite pages, you can. You can hear that, Superman? Of course you do. They're literally talking about how they can lift it in this same panel, but you're acting like they aren't in this instance. Like they're literally attempting to go lift it in the panel you're showing on screen. Where are they just failing to lift it? Where are they talking about, oh man, we can't lift it? Where's that scene?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that like he says he's taking stuff out of context, or we're doing it, but then he does it. All right, let's keep watching.
Yeah, you didn't read this comic issue.
scam. So it is assumed that the duo are lifting it, but they are not. It was already floating in midair when they put their hands on it, and then Shazam gets injured in the event, so they stop without actually having lifted it. Ultraman later lifts it, so people shift the argument from Superman lifted the infinite book to Superman is as strong as Ultraman,
and
so he
Superman
could lift
scaled
the book,
each other.
which is a very textbook example of shifting the goalposts, if you ask me. But regardless,
No, it isn't.
Ultraman lifting it was dumb.
No, the only one who's like shifting the goalpost. Well, actually, it's really no one, because you're setting these standards that supposedly these characters are failing to lift it or whatever, and you don't actually show them failing to lift it, and then you just show, oh, look at that, Ultraman is the one that lifted it, and it doesn't go to Superman when Ultraman and Superman fight each other all the time. Ultraman is literally the evil version of Superman. Like, God.
He could lift the book, which is a very textbook example of shifting the goalposts, if you ask me. But regardless, Ultraman lifting it was dumb because Superman and Shazam together couldn't. Also, at one point, Ultraman states you can see the end of the infinite book. And a quick tip for people that aren't ingratiated in mathematical concepts: infinity tends to not end. Also, the book itself.
No,
That's not true.
No. Again, we're back to 2017 with this really, really bad argument for why supposedly they did not read the Book of Infinite Pages, even though they're talking about how it, like, literally in a panel you were showing to your entire audience. This contains every book possible. We know the Ultra Thul's onboard computer has infinite memory capacity, which means it could read every page of the book at once and download instructions for its own repairs. Where in that is it exaggerated that it's infinite when they're literally talking about how they can put this in an onboard computer that has an infinite memory capacity, which then implies that it can read all these pages at once. My brother in Christ, read the panels that you're posting in your video before you say some dumb shit like, oh, because Ultraman read the end to a book of infinite pages, that now means that there is not infinite anymore.
His feat also doesn't even scale to the base characters because they're boom tubed here, but whatever, right? We're just gonna pretend like it does. Let's keep watching.
Quick tip for people that aren't ingratiated in mathematical concepts. Infinity tends to not end. Also, the book itself is from limbo, this dimension of living memory rather than physical matter. So the lifting feat itself is really iffy.
So you don't even know what limbo is when you just literally say that.
It's the book was the book of creation. The end was because of man. Yeah, I mean that too. Yeah, I mean there's just like 8 different reasons why he's wrong here. Let's keep watching.
Crisis was really dumb and incomprehensible altogether. So
No,
I'm
it
just going to
wasn't. It was
move
good.
on. I want to at least impart you with the knowledge that Superman himself, at the very least, did not actually lift the Infinite Book. In a recent Man of Tomorrow comic, Superman lifts the quote-unquote universe. But he didn't. The comic where this happened was all about an emotional, metaphysical burden, which is very clear in the comic itself. And the author even confirmed this on Twitter, but people still ignored him
the
after they
things
asked
don't
him
matter.
for confirmation.
I thought he ends up making a video that the author can be wrong, so I don't know why he suddenly cares about this now. Like, bruh.
Through the author's intent, fuck Clark Kent as a person, Superman must beat Goku. The art in this one goes kind of hard, so I'm sorry to debunk it, but Superman punching Brainiac so hard, all the other Brainiacs in the multiverse were hit, therefore Superman is a multibuster. This makes no sense by itself, but also Superman's punches didn't travel throughout the entire cosmos.
No one claims that. that just because he punches Brainiac so hard that he's not multiversal. Either way, he's more powerful as a result of that, but like, him punching all those versions of Brainiac is like an acausal punch, considering he's
real fast.
Brainiac.
Jake the Surgeon with another $5. This man would have an aneurysm if he saw that Pokemon that Ash Cosmoem, yeah, he would. He'd like throw a fit about it.
Yeah.
Alright, let's keep watching.
And then hit all the Brainiacs, because if that was what happened, it would have been a cosmic Armageddon, where people, planets, and stars across the universe would have been blown up by the shockwaves. But only Brainiac was hit, so that's clearly not what happened.
He forgets that this happened during Convergence. like it was literally during a cosmic crisis. Like, Convergence is a crisis. Like, what kind of lie is that? That's like saying, these characters didn't fight the Anti-Monitor because if they did, it would have been a crisis. Fuck, dude. Keep watching.
The Brainiacs were interconnected due to comic book mumbo-jumbo, sci-fi, what have you. The only way for this to be seen as multiverse busting is if, Superman just decided, fuck it, I'm destroying the multiverse, just to beat up this one guy.
Brainiac himself is already
but he
beyond
didn't,
multiverse
fortunately for us. Okay, so this is a guy called Nebula Man, and he's like a living universe. So of course this is a universe-level feat. But Nebula Man's entire shtick is his tiny universe. So Superman essentially
he's not
just
a tiny
this
universe,
regular
though.
Oh my lord.
He's literally like every time he's talked about, it's like he's a sentient universe. I think he has like a 4D statement too.
Yeah,
like I know he doesn't get dimensional tearing.
He's a literal man. He can't be universal, guys. He has to suit like Goku. If he is not literally the size of the universe, then he can't be multiversal, guys. I'm sorry. Like, according to this guy.
Funky dude, and people were like, Universe Buster, because the word universe was involved. I really could talk about Superman feats all day, but there are other comic book characters that so I want to get onto some of the other big boys. Pretty famous Hulk one is that he thunderclaps with twice the power of universe-destroying waves as he overpowers them with his own shockwaves. Firstly, he didn't overpower the waves, he deflected them. Secondly, the quote-unquote universe in question is just this dimension that acts as a
go back to the scan he showed. Why is it that the art style shifted when it says that he Elite Hulk threat? No. Before this. Yeah, right there.
Like,
stop moving.
Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, that's what I was pointing out, dumbass. Let me read it. I'm trying to read the first... Yeah, alright. Troops trained to attack and destroy without hesitation. They aren't enough. Why is there a shift here? Alright, let's see the next scan. I'm not going to be able to read it. Yeah, so the first scan, yep. I've read this comic. Yep, keep going.
their combat destroyed the entire universe, and it's like, oh, Hulk never destroyed it.
Yeah. He's also blatantly like referring to a thread. Oh, sorry, I have to like get.
Then from the strange and sinister crown, which masks his brow, the dark-born demon emits sonic beams of indescribable force, which bombards the Green Goliath with staggering intensity.
Then he claps and sends him back. That sounds like he's universal. Like I don't know, Chief. Let's see if there's another scan. Let's keep watching.
Between other dimensions, and the dimension in question doesn't appear to have any stars. The immense gravitational binding energy of stars is what makes the universe busting.
He's already saying a lie, but why is he showing a completely unrelated scan here?
Yeah.
Different art style, again.
Requires so much energy. And, you know, the universe is mostly empty. In order to, like, destroy it, right, in, like, any sense, you need to blow everything up. And stars are the most difficult things in the universe to blow up, aside from black holes.
No, they aren't.
What?
No,
okay, hold on, bro. Hold on. Do you not know what the vast majority of the universe is occupied with? Nothing.
Yeah, he said that, but like he doesn't realize that when people say universe, it's not just all the matter, all the stars. There's dust out there. There's all sorts of stuff, and then there's the actual universe itself. Like, what are you on?
Like, dog. Hold on.
Yeah, it's mostly space. You don't need to pull it up. We know.
No. Just like, I want this dude to like be like, tell me the difference between like, why is this impressive? Why is destroying all of this impressive? Is it because of the star that's in the middle? Is it because all the planets there too? Or maybe it's like, because if we combine all these together, it wouldn't even break large star level. If we include all of these in there, since all these planets could barely encompass all of the sun. Like, by themselves. Like, all combined. So So what is solar system level? Maybe it's because we're also including the spaces that encompass the entire solar system. And that's what we're considering whenever we're talking about solar system level. So whenever we're talking about the universe and characters destroying the universe, we're not just considering the amount of stars that they blow up. We're considering literally everything, including the spaces in between them. Man.
This guy's really dumb. Holy shit.
He's really dumb.
Let's keep watching.
The fact there's no stars or even planets or in this dimension means that the feat really isn't as amazing as people say it is. I'd say the most famous Hulk feat of all, probably because the art is really good, is when Green Scar Hulk supposedly destroys the entire Dark Dimension. But as you can probably tell by now, he probably didn't. I mean, he might have actually, but he probably didn't. Perhaps his most angry...
So wait, you didn't even read the comic then?
Why did he probably didn't? What's the...
I mean, he didn't, but he probably did? I don't know. I didn't read the comic. I didn't read the comic, guys.
Like, I know we meme about rhetoric, but who is that supposed to convince? Like, who's walking away from this like, yeah, Green Scar Hulk, he didn't destroy anything. It's like, really? Can you show me?
Also...
Yeah, no.
I love that we're just posting, like, it's nothing related to him in the Dark Dimension whatsoever. It's just Green Scar Hulk literally telling everybody that he was holding back the entire time. And calling himself the World Breaker. This has no relevance to the Dark Dimension whatsoever. Okay, it says, oh, I get it. I think I get this. In the Dark Dimension, are there women? They don't... They mentioned the Dark Dimension once, but they don't mention anything about him destroying it. So he doesn't even...
Yeah, he didn't
What
read
is
the comic.
this video?
State ever recorded. He destroyed Umar's segment of the Dark Dimension. Or it's possible he just destroyed the planet and moon he was fighting on. Umar saying she's tired of him and Red She-Hulk destroying her realm could be like the climate change definition of destroying the world. When actually...
Why? Why is it like that? Why is it like, oh, it's the climate change version of destroying the world, not literally destroying the world? Why are you claiming that then? Can you prove that? Can you prove it's only doing that much destruction to the Dark Dimension?
This is like the biggest cope I've ever seen. You have to do this for like these feats that aren't even that good. Like I haven't seen someone use this feat in ages, and you're like having to cope your way through them. Like you're like sneaking out a decision is what you're trying to do here. You can't knock anyone out. You can't submit anybody. You're
And,
trash.
hey, ridiculously annoying destroyers of my realm. Someone's opened another interdimensional rift, and you've got company. Like,
just,
keep
wrecking
watching.
it. The line where she says the combatants are destroying her realm reads like hyperbole. If two fellas were fighting...
oh, it just reads like hyperbole, huh? It reads like it. Oh, man,
Yeah,
I never knew that we classified hyperboles simply based on their verbiage alone and not based off of context. It's really funny that a lot of his commenters kept saying that they were so glad that he added context when he utterly doesn't show it and just says, oh yeah, like the whole destroying aspect of it just reads like hyperbole.
Yeah, because that's how that works, right?
Yeah.
Keep
The
watching.
line where she says the combatants are destroying her realm reads like hyperbole. If two fellas were fighting in your house, throwing each other through tables and stuff, you'd probably say they were destroying your house rather than, in the heat of the moment, taking the time to specify. Now, these two individuals are...
But you would know that it... Okay, the reason why your analogy doesn't work is because
I'm
at
gonna go
least in
piss while
that
you get mad.
context, like, we know they're exaggerating because all they've done is break tables. That's why we know it's an exaggeration. And if we're referencing humans in real life, we know they are not capable of literally destroying the house if they're wrestling with each other and they're throwing each other through tables. We know they're already not capable of that. So that is just a false equivalence. Like, immediately. I think Midnight Rants just likes hearing his own voice. He's not saying anything of value. Yep, that's pretty much it.
are engaging in physical combat within my abode, which is destroying specifically the items within my house, not the actual physical totality of the house's structure itself. What you'd probably actually say is, stop destroying my house, you little shit. I can't dig on Hulk without digging on Thor as well, so I'll go into him next. To set the baseline for debunking Thor feats, we need to go over the 9 realms themselves. There's a bunch of Marvel Asgardian feats that ignore the structure of how the 9 realms operate in order to wank characters like Thor and Odin. The lore here is that the 9 realms were initially pocket universes, which were explicitly smaller than universes, but they were later retconned as...
What? They were pocket universes,
I'm
but they were... But they're not... What?
Earbud.
Did you hear that, Hashi?
No, I was taking a piss.
Okay. Let's
Alright, so Thor, alright.
To set the baseline for debunking Thor feats, we need to go over the 9 realms themselves. There's a bunch of Marvel Asgardian feats that ignore the structure of how the 9 realms operate in order to wank characters like Thor and Odin. The lore here is that the 9 realms were initially pocket universes, which were explicitly smaller than universes.
Prove
But
it?
they were later retconned as...
Yeah, explicitly smaller than universes. Where is...
Prove it.
They're pocket universes, but they're explicitly smaller than universes.
Can
Oh,
you
yeah.
prove any of this? Like I said before, if you're gonna make claims about being a retcon and all this stuff, you better have dates and issues and show examples and all this stuff.
Like, I don't know how this random, like, feat on panel is supposed to prove your point. Like, dog.
fully fledged universes. So a bunch of feats that are commonly touted as universe-busting level aren't actually nearly that powerful, as they happened during the era where the 9 realms were not retconned into being fully fledged universes. Here's a couple examples. During the Thanos versus Odin fight, there was a panel stating they could destroy all of Asgard. Even if this happened in the modern era, Asgard is the name of the city, continent, and universe of the realm. So the statement wouldn't mean much by itself, but it also happened in the era where Asgard was just a pocket universe rather than the big boy, fully fledged universe. The other example I have is this one during the battle between Odin and Surtur when they shook the 9 realms. Very impressive, even back in the day, but you know, they weren't fully fledged big boy universes. But who cares about Odin? We care about big, blonde, buff boy daddy. The most common out of context
Just
feat of
making
Thor
up
that I
stuff.
see is also probably the most stupid of all, because it's just such a blatant lie. I really don't know how the Thor fans got away with it. So supposedly, Thor pushes this thing called the World Machine, which connects to all 9 realms, and I think this is in the era where they're full universes. So Thor pushes 9 universes with his raw strength. However, Thor pushing the World Machine does not mean he pushed all 9 realms. The World Machine is merely a time manipulation machine that causes Ragnarok to occur early. In this story arc, Thor has lost most of his godly power, so people toed the feat as especially impressive, as he wasn't near full strength, rather than stopping for a moment and questioning how a depowered Thor is supposedly pushing entire universes.
Because
The answer to that is
Thor's
that he
just
simply
that
isn't. The
strong.
panels and text boxes are taken out of context. Also, in this same World Machine shenanigan story arc, another feat of the whole thing is like Thor.
Wait, hold on. I just decided to start reading this.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the world all of a sudden, after the shock of how small a thing in my would-be murder was. The wheel is turning, spun by the invisible will of engine and tree. Humans are terrifying. Where gods remain static and unaging in their power, humans grow, the reach forever increasing. I must grow. The wheel turns. I force it back, the skin of my palms burning. Terrifying or not, they deserve to live, to grow into something better. The pain of my dear death returns. My body screams. I force it back. Hot minutes pass like hours. I must grow. Huh. I wonder why he was supposedly still strong. It's more like he was just pushing himself to become that strong. And that he was actively trying to motivate himself to continue being this strong.
Pushing the will of Yggdrasil, which is his statement, and it isn't a physical feat at all. I fight my own crippling depression every morning, but it doesn't mean I can bench press my own weight with my middle-class white boy.
What?
But
he was pushing it! What is this? He's
like
pushing
every
the wheel!
Every feat can't be literal. It all has to be figurative because this guy says so. And then he doesn't show why it's that way.
Another feat of the whole thing is like Thor pushing the will of Yggdrasil, which is his statement, and it isn't a physical feat at all. I fight my own crippling depression every morning, but it doesn't mean I can bench press my own weight with my middle-class white boy noodle arms. It's just one of those extra things where the Thor fans saw, okay, this is we're clearly lying about this other thing, so let's add a little more meat to it by adding this other lie, I guess. Yeah, this next one isn't a power feat, but a speed one, and it's one of the most famous ones of all. You've probably seen it, even if you aren't a comic fan, because people just offhandedly mention it like it's just this canon fact. Wally West Flash did not outrun instant teleportation with his base power. He was massively amped by every single being on Earth.
Flash and all speedsters who use the Speed Force inherently have the power to time travel as a result of using the Speed Force. I barely got into comic research, and I immediately found that statement. How is it that you are supposedly so, like, in tune with comic lore that you must... that you're like, wait a minute, people are saying that Flash is faster than instant teleportation? No. I must debunk this in my first ever video on my channel.
that was Wally West, by the way, in that feat. That's not Barry Allen. Barry was dead. And it's even more impressive than that. It's like an immeasurable speed feat.
Yeah, like...
Or no, it's irrelevant, my bad. He's outrunning like a fifth dimensional imp. So...
Like, hold on. Flash runs back in time. Like dog. Yeah, what do you think he's doing here? He runs on clouds.
It's not that hard to find. Like I know you're just Googling it, but like there's so many in Flash comics. It's absurd.
It's not like anyone disagrees, but like it's kind of baffling to me that someone is so like utterly baffled by the idea that Flash can outrun instant teleportation when he's like the guy that runs so fast that he can travel back and or forward in time. I wonder how he would explain Flashpoint, not gonna lie. Very true.
Running simultaneously. And if that doesn't sound impressive to you, just remember DC has a lot of really powerful superheroes, and every single one of them was like adding their power to Wally West at the same time. This isn't a speed he can utilize during normal circumstances. I mean, he can travel back.
No, pause.
Where's that demonstrated?
First of all, the part of this happens before that, and second of all, after this same Flash refers to Barry Allen as faster, and then Barry Allen comes back in the relative.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, you're not getting away with this. Like, no one scales to it. Everybody scales to it. Let's keep watching.
If he's in a race with a guy that can teleport instantly, he just kind of has to move back in time to before he arrived, which is also really possible. I haven't read this story in a while.
That is
might
possible.
actually just be what happens. But either way, this isn't just a
pause.
It's a very...
He just admitted he hasn't read it.
He just says he hasn't read it in a while.
No, that means he hasn't read it at all. Let's be
I haven't
real
read
here.
the story in a while. That might actually just be what happens.
No,
but
no,
either
no.
way,
You're
this
full of shit. You never read it at all.
isn't just a base power feat. It's a very boosted feat. Aquaman is an underrated character, even by his own writers. So I hate to have to do him like this, but he didn't push an entire tectonic plate. He pushed a mountain-sized rock, which was part of the tectonic plate.
Huh? We're downplaying Aquaman now to the point where he's not even multi-continental?
Yeah, I think he just Googled, like, absurd comic book feats debunked, and he's reading them.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, Aquaman. You're in desperate need of some wankage, but you know, the truth is important. And I'm just sorry, man. And enough
You're
of the
in
big goals of
desperate
Marvel
need
and
of some
DC. Let's go a little bit more indie. Invincible and 2 other Viltrumites did blow up a planet by flying through it, but only because Space Racer's magic gun thingy destabilized the planet's core first. In fact, the gun was integral to the planet busting, and the explosion would have killed the Viltrumites. They did not get far enough away from the blast in time.
I
The Viltrumites
agree.
initially
That
had a
feat
big cause
is
a country-sized crater, so they definitely
Yeah.
still body Homelander. So there's that. That may have sounded like a lot to you, but that was really just the tip of the tip. Of
Wait,
the
I'm
tip
surprised
of
he
the
agrees they
Superman
body
alone has
Homelander and
hundreds
doesn't think
hundreds of
Homelander is
out-of-context
strong.
feats that are thrown around daily across all of social media.
Yeah, what happened to, if we feel like they're strong, then that's enough evidence. Well, actually,
Yeah.
that's something he turns into. He becomes worse than the person that he is here, because this is his first ever video. And he ends up making a video that, as long as they feel strong, that's all that matters.
I thought he hated gun scaling. Yeah,
Yeah,
so did
when
we.
it related, when we, because he doesn't, if he doesn't see Big Boom Boom, then he don't get upset.
Yeah.
But because he sees Space Racer's gun literally, like, contribute to blowing up a planet, oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Damn, he made one valid point. Yeah, it's like he got lucky, right?
Yeah.
Like,
media. And the
Literally
reason
got
why
lucky.
there's so many is because it actually bolsters their argument. It's a lot harder to debunk the statement, oh, Superman is universal. If there's 500 different panels you're going to have to debunk in order to do so. It's all just a debate tactic. It's not
You didn't
anything
debunk any of
substantial.
them, though.
Power scalers seem completely unsatisfied with the heavy hitters like Thor, Hulk, and Superman unless they can wank said characters to this universal level. But if you actually read these characters' stories with the expectations
Oh.
that these guys can blow up the planet 1 quadrillion, quintillion, gagillion, duocillion, gagillion times over by merely blinking, you're going to be in for some mega whiplash. It'd be like watching a
No.
John Wick movie and then going into it and expecting, oh, he's gonna be able to punch all of these villains,
Pause
all these
again.
random mooks, he's gonna like annihilate them all, he's gonna
we did
Imagine
this
going
thing
into
a lot.
a movie with like
Wait,
preconceptions
before-
about how they're gonna scale. Like,
Yeah, but we read like New 52 Superman expecting him to be like trash, but he has like outer feats in like every 10 issues. Like
Yeah.
he fights a guy from the time stream. He does all sorts of stuff. It's wild, but you know, he can't be that strong, of course, right?
so back in the day, when I was a part of the Webcam Parrot research team, and I decided to research New 52 Superman, I finally came across the comic where Superman does his infamous solar flare.
Super flare. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want everybody to know that this feat in which he does it, the guy he's fighting against is stated to, like, usurp power from the fourth dimension. That is
Yeah, and
literally what is stated. He fights a guy that gets thrown into the fourth dimension, derives power from it, then goes and fights Superman, and this is what he does to him.
Yeah.
Like, he literally exhausts all of the solar energy within his body to the point where the next day he was so exhausted of energy that regular bandits regular bandits were beating the shit out of him. He couldn't beat them up. Regular
Yep.
humans. This is what happens when you read like the actual comic issues that you actually want to talk about. You end up learning something that even Death Battle, when they talk about the super flare, doesn't mention, is that he literally he fights a guy who derives his power from the fourth dimension. Even though this is not even considering the fact that the fourth dimension is like an entirely different realm that encompasses several outerversal realms, like itself. Like, we're not even going into that. But this guy is trying to act like Superman is just never universal, apparently.
Yep. Apparently.
punch them through buildings, entire continents are gonna get swept away by his impacts, and then it's just really cool street level action. You're gonna be like, okay, this is awesome and all, but this is really weird. This is not what anyone is saying at all.
That's how he does inside a comic.
The goal of power scalers is not to accurately determine the power level of characters. It's to wank these characters to as high power level as they possibly can.
That's what some people who have agendas, but that's why we have that's why we've developed the term of agenda scalers.
Also, I want to
just design arguments specifically to cater to whatever characters that they favor the most. And oftentimes when people are massive fans of one series, they often really want to see them do well. And that's why you'll see One Piece people say that Luffy has Toon Force and he beats everyone now. Or they say that Goku solos and he's 5D to Outer Versal. They do this with literally
I wanted to point something out real fast. So he says like all power scalers do that, but everybody in chat knows, like, I'm gonna reference them again, like the Ben 10 scalers who are really sad Alien X isn't Outer, and they'll tell you they can't get him to Outer, and they'll lament that they can't do it. Or like anybody in like any of these servers who will admit, oh yeah, I don't really have arguments for that. I mean, I could wank it, but I'm not dishonest, etc., etc., etc. And there's loads of people like that. I remember when like DC being 1S was a fever dream, and then someone found like the Unwritten, right? Or like, oh, proving Outer God Sphere, that was really hard for a while, and then it wasn't. But according to this guy, apparently it's all dishonest and out of context, but he won't provide a scan. He won't provide a comic. He won't give any examples of actual arguments being used by actual people.
Yep.
So let's keep.
Yep. Sorry, I had to reload the Subway Surfers like 1 hour nonstop compilation.
Yeah, one moment.
All right.
Especially on places like Versus Battle Wiki, where you're looking to like the discussion for like the calculations of the feats that they're like trying to determine how powerful a character is by like a specific feat. They go into all the maths. And they'll be like, oh man, I'm sorry, I couldn't really like use this in the way I wanted to. I could have really made it a higher number. Maybe someone better could try. And it's just, you really get the feeling that the whole culture is revolving around wanking characters to as high as they possibly can. But the funny thing is that the actual
VSB was never going to attempt to do that with DC in whatsoever. Granted, they are definitely biased towards certain ones. And just as we mentioned before, VSB is just not the place that you go to find that type of stuff. And again, this shouldn't all of a sudden encourage you to now denounce all power scaling altogether just because you ended up finding the bad side of the communities and you found the worst in all of them. So that must mean they all suck, and you now have to make this incredibly misformed video talk about how all power scalers are bad.
Writers for these stories don't adhere to power scaling logic even slightly. Writers, especially comic writers, really don't care about consistent power levels in even the smallest degree whatsoever. They want to just tell really fun, really colourful stories, and there are so many writers, and each with a unique, completely different take on every single possible character. And trying to find a consistent, this is how powerful Thor is, or this is how powerful Spider-Man is literally impossible because there is no consistency.
This is like the biggest myth I have ever seen before I got into comics. Like several years ago, was that comics are never consistent, and they're always super inconsistent, and if you try to find a consistency, you're going to only brain rot yourself. Well, let me tell you, in a group of people who literally dedicated themselves for a couple of years to research comics, that this is utter bullshit. If you somehow can't find the consistency within comics for whatever reason, then that is a literal skill issue. I'm sorry, but this is a major freaking skill issue if you somehow can't find the consistency within comics and that it's all bad. Then that all writers just want to create fun, colorful stories, and they don't care about the consistency of them. It's like, if that's the case, then why do people enjoy reading them? If it's always so wildly inconsistent, then, like, supposedly everyone should be having this, like, major problem with comics, and nobody would want to read them because they all suck.
Get a few examples of feats being taken out of context, but the rabbit hole goes way, way deeper than that. There's so many tactics power scalers use to spread misinformation on the power level of characters as a whole. Aside from taking feats out of context, the other big one is probably taking statements as absolute fact. And if you don't know, when it comes to comics, hyperbole is this genuine tactic you need to use in order to keep the young audience.
Oh my god. So hyperbole. Hold on, I just need to redo this for Hashi real quick, just so you hear this.
The power level of characters as a whole. Aside from taking feats out of context, the other big one is probably taking statements as absolute fact. And if you don't know, when it comes to comics, hyperbole is this genuine tactic you need to use in order to keep the young audiences interested. So power scalers will just take all of this hyperbole and just state it as absolute fact. And the argument they'll use to validate this line of thinking is saying that, oh well, this text box conveys the author's intent. But they only really care about the author's intent when it suits their specific narrative of characters being portrayed as powerful as humanly possible.
Oh, wait, so power scalers all of a sudden care about author's intent when it suits them. Just like how you used it earlier when talking about the book of the Book of Infinite Pain, like the whole like Superman lifting the universe, and you cite an author as evidence for why that wasn't the case, and that it was actually like a metaphor for him like carrying this huge burden. That's kind of crazy. Like, such a double standard.
A really funny example of this. Al Ewing, writer of the very amazing Immortal Hulk series, said that the Immortal Hulk isn't a planet buster. He was heckled on Twitter by power scalers, as is common for comic writers. And he was like, alright, I'll answer. And he just said, yeah, I don't think the Immortal Hulk could bust a planet. Well, anyway, I've got to get back to writing comics now. Have fun with your power scaling. And the fans ignored him and told the writer of the character that he was wrong. Lamau. Another funny one was the Superman universe lifting incident. So Robert Venditti stated that this quote-unquote Superman feat was explicitly not an act of physical strength, which is something that is so obvious within the comic book where it happened, as it's a metaphorical way signifying how important Superman.
It's so clearly metaphorical. It's so clearly metaphorical. And your only real evidence for that being the case is you have to cite the author. That's really funny.
Is to the people he is a hero to, how this pressure weighs heavily on him, because aside from being super, he's also a man. People still stated that the author's statements don't mean shit, and it's definitely a universe-lifting feat. I don't care what the story says. Statements are feats, except when the statements disagree with me personally. It's really wild how people...
So what about the literal thing that you were just showing right here? Are these just all, like, hyperbole the whole time? That Superman was just casually just bench pressing this stuff for 5 days? Like, is this just all hyperbole then? Like, when do you determine that something is hyperbole? Is it just verbiage alone? Or your own intuition?
The story says, statements are feats, except when the statements disagree with me personally. It's really wild how people treat hype-ups for comic book fights as scientifically accurate as Einstein's theory of special relativity. Most people, you really need to hear this, alright? It is extremely common for people...
Yeah, dude, you missed it. I thought you were here for a second, so I played portion. But he said that, like, one of the most popular things that power scalers often do, besides taking things out of context, is taking every statement as 100% absolute fact, when it's a common thing in comics for them to often use hyperboles to describe things.
But he doesn't show an example of it actually being hyperbole, does he?
No, well, so let's go back. He shows the whole, like, he talks about the whole Al Ewing thing with Immortal Hulk, and that Al Ewing, like, said that the Immortal Hulk can't destroy a planet, so, people just ignored him, and said that he was wrong, and then talks about the whole, like, that Superman didn't actually lift, like, the weight of the universe, and that it was actually just a metaphor.
Like, he says that, but, like, he doesn't ever prove it. That's, like, and I've read most of these comics he's talking about.
Yeah.
But, like, these feats that easily can be debunked are, like, almost every time you'll see, like, the shoot it down. Like, the Asgard being outer statement, it says mortal concepts. It doesn't actually mean that. It's, outside what mortals think space and time are. Whatever, right? But he doesn't ever show any scans. So who cares? Let's keep watching.
People don't get hyped up and hype themselves up with hyperbole. Dude, I hit like a truck. Yo, that man charges like a bull. Blood could spit mountains for real. Sometimes. And be calm, okay? This is a safe space.
People know via context what's hyperbole, and people won't use it. The difference is you don't actually have a reason to suggest any of these are hyperbole
Like,
other than vibes.
If someone, like, if someone's like, man, it's like, I got hit by a truck. And they're like, oh, man, like, what did you get hit by? And they're like, a fucking truck. Like, what if it actually just literally happened? Like, the fact that, like, you are, like, making this huge mistake of assuming things, like, based off of verbiage alone, that, like, we are just gonna go by, like, oh, if someone just says that they got hit by a truck, and because I often hear that as, like, a hyperbolic statement, I'm just gonna assume in every single case, without fail, it's just gonna be hyperbolic, until it ultimately just gets disproven to me, and they're not being hyperbolic and they're being literal. Like, until the context ultimately disproves them. Do you think he would lose his shit if he finds out about SCP stuff?
He would probably have a field day talking about how like 90% of SCP is like human level. You know, it's like regular agents doing regular shit. $5 from Jake the Surgeon. Thank you. An author can very not understand the work they've made. That's why author statements are case by case. I mean, I agree, but I just don't think they're evidence at all.
They're like the author is simply their own. Like, whatever they say is their own interpretation of their own work. Like, they don't have say over their own story. The story exists by itself. Immortal Hulk exists by itself. It doesn't require the author in order to, like, continue existing. The author may have constructed the story, but now Immortal Hulk is its own entity. You can now, everyone can interpret it for what it is. And if he, for some reason, reads his own story and doesn't think that Immortal Hulk is a planet buster, then that's Al Ewing's fault for not being able to, like, know the consistency of where Immortal Hulk should scale.
Alright, let's keep
Sometimes
watching.
people stretch the truth. You poor innocent fella. I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you that the world is
Like
an evil
you?
place. I'm genuinely so sorry, my sweet summer child. And speaking of evil places, power scaling. Power scaling I find to be a huge mess, but that's a video for another day. I really want to dedicate like an entire video to dissecting it as a concept as a whole, so subscribe if you want to see that. But I do need to quickly go over the concept because it is applied to comic books as well. Power scaling in comics does not work at all because there is such a wide variety of writers. And so you'll be reading through a comic, right? And you'll be like, okay, this is issue 1 of this series. And so you'll be going through the series and you'll realise, oh, the art's changed at this point, that's weird. And then you'll read some more and like, oh, the dialogue's changed. And you keep getting, you go to the end and you're like, oh, that was a really good story, really liked it. And so you'll look up the writer. And it turns out for that 50-issue series, there were like 10 different writers. And the thing about comic book writers is that they're very
Why does
loose
that
when it
matter?
comes to power levels. And every
So, are we then going to use that same logic that the reason why Marvel and DC comics are widely inconsistent is because there's multiple writers, despite... So are we just going to say that anytime there is a show with multiple writers and many different, like, people that have different jobs for certain things with on set, that is only going to increase the likelihood of an inconsistency within the show? Do these authors just never talk to each other? Do they not have editorial teams that look through the story to make sure that this story is not as consistent as possible, and that they don't go through revisions, and that they just post it without at all thinking about what they're like contributing to the overall like story of DC or Marvel? Like, super ignorant take. Like, super wildly ignorant take.
single one of them has a completely different view on how specifically powerful each character is. Like, oh, the Hulk can blow up this, or his strength limit is this, or he's not able to beat this guy or this guy. So the actual feats they're capable of change not only from comic to comic, not only from retcon to retcon, but within the comic series themselves. And also their power level relative to other characters also
Are you going to
changes.
show examples? or like
Oh man.
This is like textbook, like it's too complicated for me to understand, therefore you can't do it. But like, and I could go through the scans in like the Superman section where we'll note down, you know, here's where Superman got stronger, here's where he mentions this, oh, this character got stronger, this is how it can happen. You just don't understand it, so you're giving up, and that's like bitch made.
Yeah.
Someone asked earlier, do you think SCP is overrated? Yes, heavily. Too many writers can fuck up a story. They can, but I don't think having too many writers is like means it can't be consistent or good. Like, those one cat books, Warriors, they're written by like 8 people. Like Aaron Hunter isn't one person, it's like 8. It's a team of people, and those books are fine. What would he think if 2 different authors disagree? He would like bust a nut, dude. He would be so happy about it.
Yeah.
It'd be like the death nail of power scaling, the video. See, these 2 authors disagreed.
Yeah.
This frequently as well. There was this one feat of the Grey Hulk, which is like the weakest Hulk there is, and he was in a completely calm state, and he destroyed this asteroid that was twice the size of Earth. But then you get into a new story, and it's the Immortal Hulk, and he's a much stronger version of the Hulk, and he's in an angry state, and the writer's like, oh, I don't think he'd be able to destroy a planet without special equipment. Power levels in comics morph
the writer
rapidly,
could just be wrong, though.
Do so.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, dude, but you've never heard of an editorial team whatsoever. Like, the people that ultimately write the comics at Marvel and DC are not just so wildly stupid that they don't consider what was true and what came before to just let the authors do whatever they want, to publish whatever they want, and just put it pen to paper, and they're like, you know what, that's good enough, and just post it anyway without any regard to what came before. That seems like wildly uncharitable, and if people actually did that, that's incredibly irresponsible. And if that was the case, people would not be interested in Marvel and DC to begin with, because the stories would suck like so much as a result.
And we've talked to people before too, and the most interesting conclusion to who's faster between the Flash and Superman is, well, they're both faster than each other at certain points in time. They constantly trade up the position of who's faster, and you can read comics and figure it out. That's a way better answer than, oh, the Flash is just faster, oh, the Superman is just faster.
Yeah. Like what these questions often do is polarize us enough to decide that we want to investigate the answer to these questions, which then results into us actually reading the stories of the series. That's what the good power skillers often do, and that's why these questions are a good question to ask.
I got so fed up of people on Reddit saying just dumb shit that like I made a blog about it. And now I have like 140 pages of cosmological ramblings. Like, I'm gonna put my cat out, by the way. So entertain the chat.
Someone said, why am I focused and getting tense over that Subway server gameplay? I don't know, bro, but I feel you there. It means it was a good idea in the first place. What's with the power scaling videos and having really broad, unsubstantiated, vague claims? Because the moment they ditched power scaling, they decided that all they needed to do was rant to the world and tell everybody how power scalers ruined their lives, and they're hoping that the results of them making that video and repeating the same talking points as everybody else...
I'm right here, Nate. Shut the hell up. Anyways.
Yeah, but like by them making a video that everyone else has already made, that they are just gonna get the same pat on the backs, like somebody just like being like, an absolute masterpiece, do care enough to do more, bro, thank you so much. And when you tell these comic fans they're wrong and it's always pick up a comic, or clearly you've never read a comic, I think it is kind of underrated how bad some comic book power scalers can be in arguments because of how long Goku and anime fans have been hated on. Comic book power scalers are just as bad, if not worse, than the people who say Goku solos, in my opinion, said a guy named in 3 weeks ago. Hey man, I just found your channel, and I like how you're helping us figuring out this whole power scaling issue. He's not figuring out anything! He's been saying the same thing that people have been saying for years.
He's like, there are Reddit threads who have said the same thing, and they always like, no, like I haven't heard a single new argument in this video, and in fact, he doesn't even make it like it's a new argument. It's really obvious that he's just copying off of threads and posting it in a rant. Like, he has not made a single new argument. He has not said, oh, well, I looked into the issue. No, the best he has is, oh, I maybe read that Flash comic once. I'm also just mulling over how bad the person recording the Subway Surfers gameplay is, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
with
I
no
mean,
warning
I'm
at all. And
not
unlike
sorry, I
in something
guess.
like Dragon Ball Z, within comics, huge differences in power don't matter as much. Characters vastly weaker than others can still come out on top with guts or
Like
strength.
which
Like that time
characters?
recently when the Thing actually finally managed to knock out the Hulk. A comic character beating another comic
Pause.
character in a fight does not in the slightest
Go back to the Thing and Hulk. There's actually an old scan that every like Thursday night the Thing and the Hulk like arm wrestle. And in fact, like the Thing is usually like relative to the Hulk to some extent, but usually the Hulk is stronger. So him like breaking his arm here, knocking out the Hulk is consistent.
Yeah.
Keep watching.
finally managed to knock out the Hulk. A comic character beating another comic character in a fight does not in the slightest indicate that the two characters are in the same power level category. For all the DBZ folks,
So
picture
what
this.
does?
Raditz and Super Perfect Cell would be considered in the same power range if they were Marvel characters. Large
Can you
differences
prove
in
it?
power just really don't mean anything in comics. Comic book power scaling just does not work because of this. In comics, a character fighting another
Then
character
why
with
do
an equal or even
then why are characters fighting each other the main central plot point of almost every single fucking comic issue?
Like,
What do you think Final Crisis was about, retard?
Notice how he never like provided an instance here. He showed Nebula Man of all people.
Yeah.
But like that, according to him, Nebula Man isn't strong, so it shouldn't matter that Superman's fighting him, right? But he never showed an example. He gives like an analogy. He's like, "Yeah, that's what comics are like." But you haven't read a comic. You haven't pieced together consistency. You haven't done any of the fucking work.
Yeah.
greater level of power, and the fight
In
being
the end,
extremely
we will
equal
all
and
realize
guy
the
actually
Subway
winning doesn't
gameplay was
actually
to get
say
us
much
hooked,
about power
yeah.
levels as much as it would in a series like Dragon Ball Z, which has far stringent power scaling rules. And I will admit, sometimes comics take this very loose power scaling system a bit too far, like when Spider-Man KO'd a Herald of Galactus. But from a side, when comics take
What's
it too
wrong with
far,
that,
it's actually
though?
quite endearing. It allows surprises, alright? You never really know who's going to win in a fight, and it is almost dreamlike in quality, where it doesn't make much sense, but it is a lot of fun, and you really don't need it to make a lot of sense. And that statement made all the power scalers listen to it froth at the mouth, and I just really want to go on a massive rant here. I hate
It's really funny that he talks about it doesn't need to make a lot of sense for it to be entertaining and all that stuff, but then he makes a whole video where he rants about how attack potency is the dumbest thing ever made, and it's really fun, and it's really funny how people don't question it and they just go along with the story and they enjoy it and they don't care.
What I've gathered from these videos is that he's just really mad at characters being strong. Yeah, that's 100%. And that's like almost all of these videos are like, oh, isn't it better when people are like base human level? And it's like, no, it's not. Because then let's say if like every hero was like vaguely human, why aren't they getting nuked when they cause too much trouble, right?
Yeah.
If Spider-Man lifted a mountain, power scalers would be like, whoa, that is an awesome feat. Oh, Spider-Man, while strong, is a street-level guy. He's probably like the king of street kid tier. If he
You're the guy that likes the big boom, though. You literally made a whole video where you said, I want big boom. If I don't get big boom, I get blue balled. And you shouldn't let authors get away with this attack potency excuse.
He's showing that he's never read a Spider-Man comic because it's well known that Spider-Man holds back. It's very well known that Spider-Man's actually cracked and that he's holding back all the time. Keep watching.
He started doing like nuclear level shit, like wiping out entire cities with a swipe of his hand, bench pressing mountain ranges, and just doing all this crazy stuff. A lot of modern Spider-Man fans would be like, "Yeah, awesome! This makes sense. This is gonna help you win debates. Yeah!" And I understand Spider-Man holds back, right? That was a big thing recently. Oh, modern fans don't understand. Spider-Man actually holds back a lot. He's actually a lot stronger than people think he is. And yes, he is, but he isn't a walking, talking nuclear bomb. But people don't want to hear that nowadays. Screw the power hierarchy. Screw the law. Screw everything that makes the character who they are. I want Captain America to be able to move faster than light and punch people into space because it helps me win debates.
can, though.
And it's getting worse and worse and worse as years go by. I saw this absolutely
Can we
insane
pause?
post
I'm
on
sorry.
Twitter, of course. State
He's actually talking too fast. He's like making 5 points before I can get you to pause again. He's saying like screw the lore and stuff, but Cap has done these things before. Cap scales to people who scale to people who fight light speed people.
Like,
Sir, if I just joined the stream and is this guy really only ticking one box on the bingo? I think we forget to tick a bunch of boxes. Honestly,
yeah.
he is the whole bingo. Like, just throw the sheet away. You won. Like,
Yeah.
but the thing is he says like screw the lore, but according to him, every scan is out of context, and we need him to read the comic to really know. And it's like, well, then why don't you do comic book videos?
Yeah, like...
Where's your video to like actually go over how strong is Cap? Why don't you do that? Why don't you go read all the Cap comics and all the event comics with Cap in them, and you do this video on who Cap is and how strong he is? Where is that video? Oh, you're never gonna make it because you know if you do, you're gonna get roasted to hell and back.
No, these are all the videos that he's made.
He just hates power scaling, apparently.
He can go.
Lovecraft is a bitch, and I hate him. Oh, that would be funny.
Like, can Goku beat every single Pokemon? Shipping doesn't matter, and I'm better than you. Answering Quora questions while shooting liberals. 100 views. Why isn't Jujutsu Kaisen scary? Yeah, Lovecraft's a new Dragon Ball fan encounters the power scaling community, and it's just like,
how are you a new Dragon Ball scan or new Dragon Ball fan? There are no new Dragon Ball fans. Everybody's a Dragon Ball fan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the video.
Kids are ugly. Oh man.
Spider-Man is a planet buster. Can you imagine for a second? There's a comic where Spider-Man just like, yeah, I'm busting a planet. He just one punches a planet out of existence, like a Dragon Ball character. And I'm so curious, what would actually be the reactions of the fans if that happened? I'm willing to bet a lot of them wouldn't even bat an eye. It's like, yeah, this is normal. And then another character, like the older fans, like definitely from the 90s and stuff, be like, what in the name of God did I just witness? In another video, I'm gonna get into
again, you don't know what 80s and 90s people would think, dog. You're not that old.
Yeah, apparently power scaling is like a new thing, but like there are threads from the 90s you can still go back and read where they're talking about if Darkseid has a true form or not. Like, yeah, this guy is the king of meaningless slop 100%.
Hasn't there like been like a whole, like, I remember it was like shown in like Seth's video about like the Sith or whatever, that there's like this 10-year long thread of people debating about like Star Wars stuff. And it's been ongoing for several
100%.
years.
100%. These debate threads go on for years. If Gogeta's watching, if you are Gogeta, what up? But he can show you a thread. It's like Mixie versus somebody, and it's like 14 years old. Like the OP is 14 years old, and it's still going on. Like, he just doesn't get it. Power scaling's been going on for years, dude.
People have been scaling before your country even existed, dog.
Yeah. I mean, there's like scaling stuff in the Bible too, believe it or not. But
yeah,
let's keep watching.
Like planet busting are so overused that they've just lost all of their meaning. They're extremely overused and just slapped onto everyone. Every single comic character and their grandmas is supposedly a planet buster now, and I really hate it. If Spider-Man ever one punches a planet out of existence,
the problem is that you can't just say just because people use the term planet busting so much that it's lost its meaning, when it's so self-explanatory that it's like, if you tell somebody that somebody's a planet buster, they immediately know what you're talking about. You don't need to go into any explanation. Like, the only like reasons like we often say like things like metaphysics have like, or like the word debunked has lost some of their meaning is because it gets so overused and people just assume that if the word debunked is labeled onto any type of video, that means that argument has been properly addressed and it should never be talked about again, when we shouldn't even be using the word debunked that way. And it's gotten to the point where people use the term rebunk as if that's a real word. And it's just universally cringe when that happens. Like, we obviously agree that there are these people out there that are so egotistical about themselves that they are willing to go head over heels, debate you on why Goku solos all of fiction, unironically, but you should be talking about those people in specific and not label all the power scalers as those people.
And you say to my face, yes, of course, all according to my power scaling. You are a terrorist. Wanking characters is so dumb. It's like saying...
Hold on. Did you hear that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, let's hear that again.
I hate it. If Spider-Man ever one punches a planet out of existence, and you say to my face, yes, of course, all according to my power scaling, you are a terrorist. Wanking characters is so dumb. It's like saying...
Did you notice that jump cut there? as he
looked
at the freaking camera? Imagine, like, he's just sitting in his house, And he's just saying that, and he's like, "You were a terrorist," and he's just staring at the camera, and he has to hit the button to stop recording for that 1 second. Also, wait, I just noticed. I decided to look around his room for a second. He has his keys in like the lock of his door. Why? Why are your keys there, bro? Anybody could just bust into your room. Why are his keys there, chat? They're just hanging there for all to see. Everyone knows that he just has the door unlocked because his keys are literally just sitting there in the keyhole.
All right, I want to issue a challenge. I want to issue the
challenge. Do you
challenge
still think
to
he
the
lives
chat.
with his mom? Honestly,
I don't really
wouldn't
care if he
surprise me,
does.
but yeah.
Honest, like it doesn't really matter. Like
yeah.
that's kind of like a low blow. Like you gotta save money in this economy. He's caught up by a fallacy in the main broad strokes of the argument. So the whole argument collapses because of it. Effectively, yeah. He's British. Someone who says, yeah. I didn't say it, but
report card and be like, oh, hello, little Timmy, let me see it. It's like, no, don't worry, I got an A star, 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 star. And they're like, wow, you're a super genius. And then later on in the day, they look at the report card. It's like, no way, he's actually an A star, 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 star. And he must be like got like a D or something. This is so sad. And they look at the report card, and it's just a regular A. And they're like, what was the point of lying? You did great. I don't get it. I don't understand the need to wank these characters.
But you haven't proven anybody's
as soon as you point
lying.
out that this is...
Yeah.
Like, for all these lies that people tell, you have like terrible arguments for why they're lies, and like you have to make straw mans at that. Like,
yeah,
it's just pathetic. Like, if I ever like allege like someone's making an argument, I usually can go grab that argument pretty goddamn fast. Like I usually know where it's at. You can find it, right?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, dude.
It's kind of weird. There's like this wanking culture is kind of peculiar. That makes you the fake fan. You're doing a disservice to the characters, but clearly a damn hater. And 90% of the power scalers that like spread all these out of context panels online are definitely people that just haven't picked up a comic in their entire lives. And then they'll act like complete hostiles to the people that are actually just trying to have a nice discussion. Like, oh, who'd win in this fight? Who'd win in this fight? It used to be nice, those discussions. You remember when those discussions were nice? You could just chat with your friends about
like when?
Stuff.
No, but the thing is that those people exist, bro. Those people do genuinely exist. You just haven't found those people yet because you went on places like Reddit, Twitter, Quora.
According to this guy, though, in the 80s and 90s, people didn't wank anything and they just knew stuff. But now, like, it's all bad discussions.
It's all...
Yeah, but apparently in the early 2000s, it was, like, all right for a bit. And then it all went down the pooper. Can you, like, show me when this happened? Can you show threads when this happened? Can you show anything? No, you can't. People going on to tell lies. What? Oh, this one? People lie on the internet? Yeah.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Yeah, evidently, yeah, they will.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Yep. And apparently that's only ever happened in regards to power scaling, and
yeah,
all power scalers do is just tell lies. All of them. Literally all of them. You know, it's just like Hashi saying, you could just make videos where you just utterly destroy these misconceptions, and you can make a plethora of videos going over each and every single instance. Like, you can make so many goddamn YouTube shorts about it. You only started uploading September. You can easily start making YouTube shorts where you talk about certain comic panels that get wildly taken out of context, and then you explain throughout the entire short what the context is of that short, of that like panel that people take out of context. That could easily be your content, but no, it's not. It's not what your like content is. It's just coping, seething, and ranting. Like,
yeah,
it's just an utter
it's just pathetic.
Session.
Like that. Not anymore. It's a science. It's a logic. It's a political level debate.
Wait, pause real fast again.
By factual, I mean lie.
Didn't people in like the 70s and 80s mail in who would win questions to the authors all the time? Not only that, but if you've ever watched The Simpsons, the comic book guy on that show is a trope of people who would go to comic book shops just to argue. Like but in like the 80s and 90s, it used to be normal for you to be able to go to a store and not spend money at the store and just hang out. Because there was this like general agreement that you would eventually buy something, but like it wasn't like buy something or leave. And you would go there and you would talk about what happened in the comics and people would argue about it. Like, it's a very old practice. It is not new in the slightest. And I've asked people, and in the early stages of the internet, when you had like Usenets and there were these very local things, you would have comic book BBSs. People would mail zip file or email zip files of one whole issue. Like, he doesn't know anything about how power scaling started on the internet, and I've looked into it because I think it's interesting.
I can just tell that he lost a Goku versus Superman debate right before this video, and he started on his villain arc.
Bro, he's crashing out.
And then then HQ's like, I don't think that's a villain arc. I call cap.
Yeah,
it's just a downward spiral.
Yeah, it's. If y'all have ever seen Young Justice, it's like when Red Arrow starts this. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but let's keep watching.
Yeah, just like HQ said, debate is surrendered if you just get the answer from the source.
Apparently.
The behaviour of comic wankers should really scare everyone in the comic community, and the reason isn't what you're thinking it is. And I have another silly little story that showcases it quite brilliantly. So I saw this cute lass on Quora, no less, and she was in this comment section of this answer about comic book power levels. She was saying
cute lass on Quora. Oh God. Please.
If comic book wankers are so bad, why don't we have like why isn't he placing these characters anywhere? Like where's his scale at? How strong are they according to him, right?
Yeah.
Comics, but all these like power levels and stuff, it's like seems so over the top to me. And this guy, he must have had I think he had like a full profile pic or something. He deadass starts saying, "You think that's crazy? Well, Thor and all my favorite heroes could like dub all of reality. This stuff is like nothing." Not only are the people who say this stuff objectively wrong, but you're also fumbling.
Why are they objectively
just
wrong?
So you can wank a fictional character. How is Condiamond King being seen as galaxy level really worth dropping your sex life? And so people aren't sold that this whole
is it worth
culture
dropping your
isn't
sex life that you're literally making it your actual real life face your entire channel, and if someone that you're dating wants to go and see who you wanted to go research you are, somehow stumbles across your video and you're acting in completely utterly childish in regards to fictional power skillers ruining your life, and you're just going over this whole thing. It's just like, oh yeah, like you're just ruining your sex life because you're debating on Quora and doing all this weird shit.
Really infuriating. I have this really egregious example, so, strap yourselves in. People wanked the MCU What If Evil Doctor Strange to Universal, and one of the reasons why his story was so emotionally impactful was because he wasn't powerful enough to stop the universe from collapsing. People's desire to wank characters is so extreme that they're willing to completely undermine...
Also, that's not exactly what he was trying to prevent. He was trying to... Hold on. I want Hashi to come back before we go into this whole thing for the dark, strange thing. What's the weakest fictional verse? I mean, they could change from today or tomorrow. Really doesn't matter, ultimately. But yeah, who's going on Quora to get some, a piece of ass? Like, literally. The only problem is when you spend so much time on there that ultimately you could be doing some better stuff with your life. At least with what I'm doing, I'm actually making money from it. Like some money. This dude fumbled the back on Quora. While we wait for Hashi to come back, I just want to replay this clip again.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Yep. That's all power skillers do. All of them. Nah, surf those Quora hoes of the wave. All right.
Korra? There are no females on Korra. I'm sorry, there are no
Hold on.
females on Korra. No, there are not.
Midnight would have to disagree with you there, actually.
fumbling the bag.
You didn't call and debate me.
So, this silly little story can really scare everyone in the comic community, and the reason isn't what you're thinking it is. And I have another silly little story that showcases it quite brilliantly. So I saw this cute lass on Quora, no less, and she was in this comment section of this answer about comic book power levels, and she was saying like, "Oh, I'd really love to get into comics, but all these like power levels and stuff, it's like seems so over the top to me." And this guy, he must have had like I think he had like a Thor profile pic or something. He dead ass starts saying, "You think that's crazy? Well, Thor and all my favorite heroes, like
yeah, I saw that part.
This stuff is like nothing. Not only are the people who say this stuff objectively wrong, but you're also fumbling the bag just so you can wank a fictional character. How is Condiamond King being seen as galaxy level really worth dropping your sex life?" And some people aren't sold that.
How do you know that like last was actually like a female or whatever?
That for one, but for two, I'm rolling in DMs all the of people on Twitter all the time, and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, have you read my blog?" And they're like, "Oh man, no, I haven't. It's wild that you know so much." And I'm talking to them in the DMs, like, fuck out of here, dude. Autism is the Riz. Like, I don't know.
Where are the Korra baddies for real?
100%. There, two femboys exist on Quarantine.
Quarantine. Yeah, the Korra femboys be like they hit like no other, bro.
I'm sending that to Trent. I mean, I guess what they were trying to say.
Yeah, we're talking about Korra femboys.
Yeah, I'm sending it to where's Trent at?
He said Condiment King so wrong. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what you get for being British.
100%. Man.
This whole wanking culture isn't like really infuriating. I have this really egregious example, so you know, strap yourselves in. People wank the MCU What If evil Doctor Strange to Universal, and one of the reasons why his story was so emotionally impactful was because he wasn't powerful enough to stop the universe from collapsing. People's desire to wank characters is so extreme.
No, but he fights Infinity Ultron.
Yeah.
Like we see that he did stop it though. Like he ends up making that like bubble of a realm. Then we see later on he makes it bigger. And then we see he does it again against Killmonger and Armanzilla. And we see he's done it like a million times when he keeps like he keeps like absorbing people in like season 2 or not absorb, like feeding them to the machine. He's gonna like remake his universe. Now I don't think he could literally make a universe, but he has an AP definitely. Like he carried the team against Infinity Ultron, who's like 5D.
Yeah.
So
characters and treat them as empty husks of raw power instead of characters with development, growth, interesting quirks, and emotional
Pause
stories.
again.
That's why in Versus debates is standard.
Why not just do both?
Go back to when you showed Doomsday. What he forgets is that when Doomsday was made, it was literally because Darkseid wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
Like per Dane Jurgens, that's why they had to make Doomsday. Let's keep watching.
Development, growth, interesting quirks, and emotional stories. That's why in Versus debates it's standard to have the characters bloodlusted and out of character. So the debaters can just compare ranked stats rather than the more interesting idea of different characters, personalities, and ideals clashing alongside their powers. So the comic book power level wankers out there watching this video, if you simply see these characters as
actually pause again, I'm sorry.
Measured against one
I saw something. You know, all these people who say this, like, oh, you won't talk about how interesting it would be. You better be like shouting out Seth's "Could Batman Solve the Kira Case" video. That's like peak what you want, but you won't mention it. Yeah. MCU Supreme Strange is also said to have been the only being powerful enough to fight Ultron, so that's at least beyond Dormammu. Facts. Yeah. Chad, is there like an on-panel feat of Spider-Man destroying a planet? This guy apparently is like really mad that there could be. Is there one? Thank you, Chad. Let's keep watching.
He was actually claiming a lot of stuff about the Hulk earlier.
Yeah.
Like, he actually, like, went on, like, a tangent about how Hulk apparently never destroyed a universe, and how Hulk, allegedly didn't, wasn't actually destroying the Dark Dimension. Actually, hold on.
I like how the keys are right there to make fun of me and others, yeah.
Yep.
I can't even see the keys. Where are the keys at?
It's on the, it's on like my stream.
Oh, those keys. I thought you meant like you had like keys to like in the video. I was like, oh, where are the keys?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, you didn't see that? Oh, you weren't here for that? No, yeah, he has the keys in his.
Oh,
in
he
his
does.
keyboard.
I see it. Oh, bro, why does he have keys in the lock? That's that's actually not good for the lock. Depending on how heavy your keychain is, at least. You want to bring Chad in here? Oh, we could. I mean, this video is almost over, and
yeah. I just figured Yo, Chad, do you actually want to come in?
I don't think so. Maybe if he was mega amp, but even then, it might end up he might end up just scaling to planet level, not the direct feed itself. Yeah, but this guy was like pooping the bed over the idea of planetary Spider-Man.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end of the video, but we figured since we have covered so much Marvel in this video, we might as well bring on somebody who's a bit more informed on Marvel stuff.
Yeah, Spider-Man did create universe once, but to be fair, I don't know. Yeah, I'll hop in real quick. Yeah, Chad.
All right,
I like Chad.
Yep. I'll just add you to the call real quick.
Yep. That was not very seamless at all. And now I can't. You're not screen sharing anymore.
Yeah, 1 sec. Yo, what's up, Chad?
Hello guys.
Yep.
Hello. But yeah.
Yeah, he was like, oh, if Spider-Man just destroyed a planet on page, like the new fans would love it, but every other fan would hate it.
Like in the 80s or 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
It just.
But he. Oh, sorry, Chad.
No, it's alright. Yeah, this. First of all, he's talking about what the fans want. The fans don't know what they want, whether they're old or new. So that's like irrelevant. But I don't think they'd care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if Spider-Man destroyed a planet on page like tomorrow, actually, wait, today's Monday, right? Comics come out on Wednesdays, right?
Yeah.
Is it Wednesdays?
Yeah, they come out Wednesday.
Yeah, on Wednesday, if Spider-Man just punched out like a planet, like he punches out like Ego, right? Even though Ego is probably like way stronger, right? I feel like most people would be like, "Oh, cool! Spider-Man's like interacting with like cosmic stuff. Neat."
Yeah.
Like I feel like only people like him would like rage soy jack out over it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. Like, I feel like Spider-Man, like mythos was probably entering that cosmic level when like the Inheritors started pulling up.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man does beat Mullen eventually, and he's like said to be Thor/Hulk level.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this dude is probably screaming, ripping up his comic books about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I currently have like the stream pulled up right now, but he was like really upset about when Hulk apparently just never like.
Those characters fall must also be that immense level, because that just makes sense. And on and on and on it goes until practically half of comic characters can now apparently defeat.
Yeah, where does he say about the whole destroying the universe thing, where apparently that just never happens? Oh yeah. Like, did you see this whole section, Chad?
Yeah, I was I watched the video, but I was watching the stream as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he just waffles. Waffles a lot. Yeah, so he just like redirects the sound waves that were being shot at him, and the sound waves just like destroy the universe. But I was actually talking to someone about this the other day. I don't think his thunderclap is as strong as like a direct punch.
Yeah.
I think they have worse feats. And are normally just like used as kind of like an improvisation, an improv attack, just like to close the distance between something. So that attack would be weaker than would it be normally dished out. And also, this guy likes to talk about like the writer's intent and all that kind of stuff. Hulk only does these things when he's when he knows that he's not endangering innocence. So he's in a realm right now in this page where it's just him and that guy, the Nightcrawler. And like the same with the Dark Dimension. The Dark Dimension was just like full of just like he like asks, like Umar is like, oh yeah, who's here? And she's like, oh, just like the souls of the damned, and like your worst enemies. He's like, okay, bet. And him and Red Shield just start fighting, and they're killing them. And he just doesn't care because they're not good people. So the fact that he's openly going out his way to ignore that part of the narrative just shows that he's just biased towards his viewpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of with these like types of people, it's always obvious they didn't read the comic because when feats do have like a very clear anti moment where they clarify this isn't happening or whatever, it's really easy to just point it out. But for none of these does he ever do that. Like and you know, I'm sure you could like pick some out, but there are feats in every continuity where it's like, oh, this might happen, then they explain it didn't happen, it wasn't gonna happen, you're wrong, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, there's one in Indestructible Hulk where he basically punches a timeline apart.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess, not necessarily that he couldn't have done it, like he didn't have the force for it. I guess that's a bit weird because he's punching time, but it's that he was like he had just specifically blown up a bomb, like punched like a metal
yeah,
like a bomb, and it was like the metal in it from that bomb that could like interact with time and shit was jagged in his fist, like the shrapnel.
Oh, all right.
Like, yeah, punch harder than you've ever punched before, and he punches, and it just like he just interacts with time and just like shreds the timeline apart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, he could have done it if he had this component, he adapted or whatever.
Yeah.
But just in that one specific instance, he needed a very specific component.
My point is that for those types of feats do exist, and it's very easy to point out, right? Like, this feat required prep. This one is like an amped character, you know. But instead of showing any of these, and you know, still straw manning, but he just picks feats that actually happen and makes himself look like an idiot.
Yeah, someone just mentioned like what happens if this guy learned about the love of Spider-Man?
If you guys about what, sorry?
The love of Spider-Man.
Oh.
How can something as abstract as love all of a sudden be extremely powerful? All of a sudden, it must be hyperbole, guys. It must be hyperbole. Oh man. Wait, let's just finish off this video real quick.
Comic book power level wankers out there watching this video, if you simply see these characters as balls of power to be measured against one another, then maybe the person downplaying them isn't me, it's you. Not a day goes by where I don't think about how much I mildly dislike everyone on the internet. Be sure to subscribe. I worked really hard on this video, so I really appreciate it.
You worked really hard on this video, huh?
Wanking. Tell me all about it.
You worked really hard on that video, huh? Why is that there?
Raging racist.
Raging
yeah,
racist? What?
That's me.
Oh, I've seen that guy's video. He's yeah, he's definitely something.
All right. So, moral of the story: this guy didn't actually do any homework to even like accurately poison the well for power scaling. I think he saw these feats on like a thread I'm willing to bet, and it's like, yeah, they got debunked.
And he worked really hard. He worked really hard on this video.
Mind you, only power scalers lie. Now, the people who debunk power scalers, they're as honest as like a true Christian, right? They can't lie, right?
Yeah.
That's how that works.
And you know, there's just no consistency in comic books whatsoever. All authors who ever contribute in Marvel or DC writing are just all extremely incompetent, and they don't know how to write consistent like power levels throughout their entire series.
Until it's Al
stories?
Ewing. Wait, until it's Al Ewing saying Immortal Hulk couldn't destroy a planet, then suddenly he's the most knowledgeable person on Hulk ever, and that's the consistent take on Hulk, right?
Yeah, that Twitter statement, goated.
Yeah. Do
Even though
you want to expand
Al
upon
Ewing
that, by the
also
way?
said in that like same thread on Twitter that not to take his word for it because he like subscribes to
Yeah.
Death of the Author. Like, yeah, just get
Oh,
get your own
really?
interpretation from it.
Oh,
Well,
that is crazy.
my point is that according to this guy, authors like are terrible. They don't know anything. They cave to fans all the time, and that's why comics are inconsistent. But when they say something outside the medium on Twitter, you know that's like the accurate take on comics, right? Everybody.
Yeah.
That's the gold
You
miner.
shouldn't allow authors to get away with the attack potency excuse, because then they're just going to always blue ball their audience, give us statements that they're only as powerful as destroying a planet, but they never show us. Do not let the authors get away with this nonsense. Let them know that we want to see the big boom. And like, his literally first video is talking about not caring about the big boom, but all of a sudden he then makes a whole video about how he feels like he's blue balled all the time when we don't get big boom. It's absolutely baffling how wildly inconsistent this guy's like viewpoints are, and it's all because some power scalers took him behind the school, like threw him in a dumpster, and then when he managed to climb back out of it, they then grabbed him, shoved him into a locker, and left him there for a couple days, and that has completely encapsulated his entire experience of power scalers. $2 from Major Metroid. Thoughts on Toru from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure versus SCP in like 096. Hold on, I'm unfamiliar with SCP 096.
Isn't that the one that snaps your neck?
Let's see.
Nah, it's not the skinny dude, the shy guy.
Yeah. Which one is it? Because like Toru's trash. So if this guy is like above building level,
Yep. It's
he
also
just
known as
went
the Shy God, a human creature that becomes
Concrete.
extremely hot so when any part of their face is seen.
Oh, then you just beat Toru up. Like Toru's trash. I'd be more surprised if Toru can somehow win. Cause like the Wonder of You is just like garbage.
His jaw can open up to 4 times the norm of an average human. Let's see. It is not
just
yet
beat
known
that.
whether or not he's blind or not. It shows no signs of higher brain functions and is not considered to be sapient. It is normal.
Yeah.
Docile.
Oh wait. that not being sapient thing, that would mean that he can't pursue Toru, which means the Wonder of You would never proc. So he would just beat up Toru.
Oh my
And the
god.
Wonder
Damn.
of You wouldn't do anything.
Damn, Shy Guy is beating the fuck out of Toru, guys.
Yeah.
Documented speeds have varied from 35 kilometers per hour to, like, redacted, and seems to depend on the distance from SCP 096 1. At this point, no material or method can impede his progress. The actual position does not seem to affect his responses. It seems to have been
Yeah, this SCP is beating the fuck out of Toru.
Yeah, I guess
Like,
this SCP is just beating up Toru. That is crazy. Yeah, this kid is just upset that his lunch money got stolen, and now he's making a bunch of videos being like, well, y'all bullied me. Y'all bullied me so hard.
Oh yeah. I think I commented on this video.
You did?
Someone responded to me about, like, I brought up the
Let's see how many.
Al Ewing himself, like, stating on Twitter and his own website about, like, Death of the Author and all that kind of stuff.
Let's see here.
Al Ewing says that only Worldbreaker Hulk could destroy the planet, but then, like, he writes in his own comic that Devil Hulk is, like, the angriest version of Hulk. so therefore he's the strongest. And then afterwards, like he says, "Oh, Savage Hulk becomes even stronger than that," and then like he just clips himself over and over again in that same
Loop.
same run. And
Did they
something
ever?
all up
Oh.
to me, and he was like, "Oh, like he actually is in the narrative that he's not planet level." I'm just like, no. I like this big back and forth with him on Discord, and he was like sending me loads of Bibles and all this shit.
Did they ever bring up Claw again, or is he just like obscure?
No, they don't. I think that's just like a one and done. I'm like a couple of Marvel.com articles have mentioned it, but obviously that's like.
Yeah, I always felt like that was like one of those things. Like that's like a very like a I'm trying. That's like the YouTube short you'd see. It's like that time Hulk went Hulk, and then they would talk about Claw, right?
Yeah.
And then like you'd think someone would bring that back to like, yeah, oh, he did it again, you know. It's kind of like how it's kind of like how in recent years Tony's had more and more Buster suits. When like for your
the MCU is gonna do something similar to it in What If season 4 episode 1.
Oh, cool.
So like Hulk is gonna get like bombarded by a bunch of like more gamma radiation, and then he's gonna like turn into like a literal like kaiju.
Yeah, that's neat.
So yeah.
I don't mind like these like what's it called like normie moments, you know. Like it's like blatantly for the YouTube short. It's blatantly for the snippet of hey, this happened in comics. I just wish they would like keep them around longer than like a page or an episode or an issue, you know.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like they're basically doing it 3 times now. Like Null from Fear Itself was meant to be, you know, what if Hulk had a Hulk?
Yeah.
And then it was Titan. I mean, you can even go back farther than that, further than Fear Itself, to like the 80s, where like Hulk was like possessed by this demon during like a Defenders run. And he was like black and white.
Oh, okay. I need to show this on screen.
What?
Who is
1 moment.
Who is leaving a massive comment like this on this video?
Jesus.
Oh man. The thing is that he starts off with, not only I completely agree and think this needed to be said, but even more could be said, and then just goes into this everlasting Bible.
Bro, he's just. He said, "Yeah, I've got some time."
And he's
I
not
wrote
even
stuff on the
done.
book
He
journey
goes
home.
into the next comment. It keeps going. Oh my god. I'm on computer. And this is just so insane. That someone would dedicate this amount of time to writing this. Like, that is just absolutely insane. Honestly, these stories and feats can be interpreted in many ways. Just because you see it in one way doesn't mean another can't see it another way as well. And that most definitely does not mean that your interpretation of things are objectively correct or theirs as well. It's fiction. As I said, these stories and feats can be interpreted in many ways. People have ways in which they enjoy a subject. What have you to claim that you know the gravity of which these stories are written to be when it can objectively be interpreted in many ways? This was redundant. Facts.
Yo, this
Yep.
dude came in and just like dropped a banger.
Yep. And left. How it should work? No, I'm not reading that. I came across something.
But just like, okay, these characters aren't destroying planets all the time. But why is he not mentioning like why that isn't the case? Like Superman has that like aura, right? That he can extend. So it like protects anything that he wants it to protect. When he's interacting with it. Or like Hulk and like Amadeus Cho have this thing where they put they do actions so specifically that they do the calculations in their head because Banner obviously and Cho one of the two of the smartest nigga dudes on Earth, and it helps them to avoid killing innocents and to help them from causing too much collateral damage. So it's basically there's two instances there of basically key control. In comics.
Oh wait, is this it?
Yeah, that's me. I'm old.
Oh,
Sometimes I
yeah.
switch to it and I forget I'm on it.
Using Owing's Twitter statement about Devil Hulk being unable to bust a planet despite Ewing himself also stating multiple times on Twitter and his own blog that his word online doesn't mean much when it comes to the interpretation of the comic is crazy work. Also, I don't know why it'd take Devil Hulk being sub Green Scar anyway, when he's stated to be the most powerful Hulk. And if you took powerful as meaning something else, he's also called the angriest Hulk that Hulk has ever been.
This guy, I had him. It turns out when I tried to add him, it turns out I've had him added on Discord for years, and I'd only interacted with him once. What the hell?
Man. Small world, huh?
Yeah.
Very small world. I came across somebody that actually had a disagreement with him and I missed it completely. This is so refreshing. No, it's not. This is so refreshing.
Man, what gets me is the guys that are I've been reading comics for 40 years.
Yeah. I am a true comic book fan. I've been reading it for over 46 years. Since I was 6 years of age. I have a personal collection of over 20,000 books. I have read them all, and I've also read many more, and I don't personally own. Having said that, it's finally nice to see someone from your generation that understands comic book storytelling and the context required. I agree with you on Power Scoters. They are completely out of their minds. I just debated someone about the Hulk/Ironclad fight that took place in the Interdimensional Nexus. This fight took place directly after original Secret Wars in 1980s. Dr. Strange had banished the Hulk to this place to keep him from harming others. At any rate, the fight that was said to be felt throughout the universe, multiverse, whatever, and the person I was debating took that to mean that Hulk's punches could shatter universes. They completely disregarded the fact that the punches being felt everywhere had everything to do with where they were fighting, not how powerful the combatants were. Is this true?
I don't think there's a statement the crossroads amps the punches. It's just that the shockwaves from them two clashing were spreading it. The crossroads is just infinite, right? Because it contains an infinite amount of doorways to infinite realities. So the shockwaves are just traveling that distance, and because those doors are practically open, they're portals. The force was traveling outside all of them, through all of them into the different universes. But it was also causing unheard cataclysmic destruction throughout each and every reality.
I always figured
again, that's because
nobody wants to see a channel with a 53-year-old talking about comics.
I've often found that the biggest red flag someone doesn't know anything is I've been reading it for 40 years. I've been reading since whenever. It's oftentimes what that means is they've read a few issues every week and they just assume that because they read them and didn't see anything that there's nothing in them.
Yeah.
The amount of times that you can go back and reread something and find something is astonishing, even for people who are well read. So,
yeah, I mean, look at fucking Dragon Ball and Naruto.
Yeah, third and fourth revisions of Naruto just get wild, and anybody who peddles this I've been reading for X many years, they're always just full of shit.
I took a shot every time you used the word or variation of wank, and now I'm plastered. Good video though, man. Maybe use the word a little less. Try glazing or hyped up in conjunction with wank to stretch out your articulation. You've earned a subscription. Oh, man.
Damn, if you go.
Yep. Oh, where is it? Oh, yeah. Hashi, did you... I don't know if you saw this Bible of a comment.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, this fucking thing. Because someone's definitely reading all that. TLDR.
TLDR, he doesn't really know anything. I mean, that's what we can always kind of conclude.
Oh, yeah, this one guy completely based statement that this video was just really redundant. Fucking based. This is so based. Unironically, this is fucking based. Who let bro cook?
He burnt down the kitchen, yeah.
Who let bro cook, indeed. How? Oh, I think I've seen this guy before. How is that switching the goalposts? That is just simply change scaling. You crying jit. And as for your Marvel debug, we can debate this.
Facts. Get this guy in call. He'd crumble.
Do a debug video involving Archie, Sonic, Hyperion, CC Goku, and Alien X next. Oh yes,
These types.
because I'm sure he's
These types of people are. Yeah, these types of people like just assume that like if you can say stuff like this, you must be knowledgeable. And I'm not trying to dog on him, but Seth used to get kind of the same thing where people would just ask him about like Lovecraft, assuming Seth must know something about it.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of wonky.
Holy
Yeah,
essay.
I mean, like how? Okay, Archie Sonic. I don't know about him, but Hyperion, whatever, CC Goku, whatever. But like, how do you debunk Alien X?
You have to like pick a
How
scale.
much-
Yeah, you have to like pick a scale for him, and then like quote unquote debunk it, and then you have to pretend like everybody agreed with that scale you just debunked. That's how you have to do it. And that's like what this guy's video is, anyways. Like,
I guess it'd be like, oh, Alien X creates a universe, but then there's that one crossover from the reboot where he gets like beat up by like Heat Blast and Big Chill.
yeah.
Like, oh, so he's like country level or some shit.
Personally, my favorite moment in all of
When he gets
10
punched.
is when he gets just nope.
Yeah. Mind you, the Ben 10 fans will tell you like every crossover is canon besides this one. So what scale is DC and Marvel? Marvel's like high outer maybe, DC is 1S. Next question.
Where's my skin? Where is it?
You should have thought this through and found it on your phone
No.
first.
I will
You're
find
losing your Riz. We'll give up. The joke's kind of played through. Like people in chat are already moving past it.
Do not talk about the reboot.
Yeah,
But
see,
it-
they're already
it is-
moving past you.
Yeah.
It's over.
Alright.
And so is the video.
Yep. Alrighty, boys. I think that's the end of the stream. We've kind of gone on for far enough. We got to stress out quite a bit of that discussion of like that really terrible 30-minute video. I think that hopefully that's the end of Midnight Rants and he doesn't make any more videos. Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully he checks like his like content creator dashboard and he sees these streams reacting to him.
Yeah. Hopefully. No, I'm not reacting to the raging racist.
No, we're not reacting to the raging racist.
If
Man,
someone,
that
donates-
was-
if someone donates $200, we're watching that right now.
Look, I have shit to do, so I'm not. But maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. If someone donates $30, he'll watch another of that dude's videos. Oh no. But he doesn't have a wide range of videos. He literally only has like 11 videos. I don't know. Like, I think either watching either of these ones would be really funny. Like the one about shipping doesn't matter, or that Goku can beat up every single Pokemon.
Yeah, we can watch another one of his videos sometimes. I think the stream's been on long enough,
Yep.
and I don't want someone to actually Hail Mary, and then I'm like gone for 10 minutes, and then we come back, and no. Like,
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go chat. It was nice seeing you, and
Yep.
hopefully we'll be streaming again soon. Say goodbye,
Yep.
Chad and Hashi.